Good evening. Welcome to Outside the Box Open Forum. I'm your host, Kate of Gaia. Just waiting for Tony to get on the board. And oh my, the switchboard is lit up again tonight. You guys are coming in droves. It's a bit overwhelming, to be honest. Yes, only hearts like ours, eh? Yeah, I wrote that in, 98, I believe, 97, 98, something like that. Yeah, so just one of those tunes. Now, boy, I got so many mixed feelings on what I want to cover tonight, and hot on the heels of last night's on fireness, of course, getting hacked to the nines and whatever. So I thought we'd do a little love conquering all kind of thing tonight, because, well, that's kind of what I do best. Just for those that aren't aware of the astrotheological aspects of themselves, I will share with you a few things about me. I have a double Mercury outboard, thinking, Gemini, and a couple other things coming in there. I'm a Leo ascendant, which kind of gets me in your face, and it's all done with my ruling planet Venus, love. Tony, how are you? I think I just caught him off guard there.
Not too bad at all, okay. Not too bad at all. Just frantically posting bits and pieces, got messages flying in and trying to get all sorts of links posted. But no, good.
Yeah. No, I know that feeling. It generally takes me about a half an hour or more just to get the posts up and ready and get them out for each show. So it's just good to know you're there, and I know you're clicking away. So any particular direction you want to go in out of the gate there, Tony, or what do you want to do?
Well, what do I want to do? One of the things I wanted to cover, I've been looking really deeply. I apologise if you're not going to be very pleased with this, but I've been looking very deeply into the situation of what's actually been going on with this Boston situation. Now, I don't want to create any negativity.
No, and I think you're misreading me on that. I got to tell you that the Boston Marathon hoax was probably the fastest I have ever seen a hoax uncovered, literally within the hour. And the information surrounding it, there's been a media blackout, meat stick media blackout, because they know they got caught with not only their knickers down, but halfway down the block naked.
Yeah. No, it's actually been, pardon the pun, blown to pieces. It's another false flag, it's another setup, and people are seeing through it so fast, it's incredible. And that's the beauty of it, because people are beginning to, really get conscious now, and that's obviously, wonderful news, because we're just seeing through it so quick, It's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And that in and of itself is not what I deem to be fear porn. What it is, one of the reasons why I use the term so often is I just want to make sure people, to let people know what fear porn is. It's something that is that delivers a negative message, that doesn't end with a solution, and it leaves you with a feeling of fear, anger, frustration, despair, depression, whatever. Something less than positive. Now, when you come at it from what you guys are doing, it was just too much information coming at me all the time, so I just had to back out of a couple of things, regrouping myself here. But one of the things that I did notice, and of course I do my own checking on things, and I noticed a couple of clips from both Judge Napolitano and Glenn Beck, and I got to tell you, I don't believe they got away with saying what they did on the air. For Meat Stick Media, but I know Glenn Beck has offered up an ultimatum for the U.S. government to come clean by Monday, or he's going to release some information. And Napolitano also made it clear that there have been, he said 20 different attacks, quote unquote, but 17 of which that were stymied. And we know that all 20 were created by elements like the FBI. And the CIA, where they will go in and find themselves a patsy and get them under their wing and convince them that they're one of them, and really what they're doing is they're selling and fomenting the whole idea of someone doing something, and just at the last minute they quote thwart unquote that which they created to make themselves look good. So it's just more exposure of the same nonsense, same bullshit.
Absolutely, absolutely. But like I say, it is the bright side is we're seeing through it so bloody quick. It's head spinning. If people go to Syncrenicity.com, on the headlines there, the second page in, it's got a whole load of information, a load of research that's been basically pulled together by the Syncrenicity team, so that people don't even need to, do any work. It's there for you. If you go through that, you'll see, there's loads and loads of people. I'm just trying to think one of the best ones named. But yeah, there's tons of information there. It's already been researched and it's already there for you. All you've got to do is pop along there to the front page, click on false flag situation, or the third update, and there's a whole remit of stuff. And if you didn't get it before, you're going to get it now. It's wonderful stuff.
Well, I'll tell you, there's going to be a lot of things that people are going to get tonight, because I know I know where I'm sitting right now. I know exactly I know exactly where the moon is. I know exactly where everything is in relation to me, which is why I stress so much understanding and knowing myself. And the first thing you have to understand is that, one, you're not. People have said to me, "Well, why do you refer to the body as a meat stick? It's actually a divine universe." Yes, it is. Unfortunately, most people can't separate themselves from it. And that the human body is a collective of divine universes, of divine consciousnesses, plural, all the way up and down the scale. And it just so happens that the consciousness that is you is the one that's running that little show. And how you treat the rest of your universe is going to be how the rest of your universes treat you, which is one of the reasons why they've went so strong into things like GMO, geoengineering, chemtrails, what's the word, high fructose corn sugar, which, by the way, if you ingest high fructose corn sugar, you can go and check out Dr. Kozarev's work on this, Russian doctor from the research in the 50s and 60s, that what happens with that kind of sugar is it's the wrong kind of sugar, and it actually has a reverse toroidal field spin, which shields you from any cosmic energy that you would need for information. We're all part of the universe. Aluminium, by the way, has the exact same effect. That's why they have aluminium as one of the components in chemtrails, because what it does is it not only has a reverse torsion field spin on it, it also has the reflectivity quality that any sun's rays trying to get into Mother Gaia are actually being reflected. So they're being diverted and reflected at the same time. So there is a method to all this madness, and while we are in this physical game, we are at, of course, at effect or cause to it, and you have to decide whether or not you're going to be cause or effect. And that's where I've spent much time trying to get people, into a different headspace with regards to it. And it's a very difficult program to break, because all of us have been programmed literally from birth, sold into slavery by our own parents at birth. They didn't know they were doing it, and they certainly weren't told, so there's a bit of non-disclosure issue going on. I do want to touch on a bit of that tonight as well. And Tony.
This is one of the things you were talking about, aluminium. Well, this is one of the main components of the chemtrail spraying. Aluminium, barium, strontium, and all sorts of other things. But yeah, again, the reverse torsion physics. I mean, it's all the stuff that they're doing is all, you see, how can I put this? The science that allows you to understand this has been hidden. So therefore, even if people like us are trying to explain it to you, it's like, well, I never heard about that in college, or I never heard about that in chemistry. No, you won't. And that's the point. What you need to do is do your own research and educate yourself, and that way you'll be able to, what's the word I'm looking for, comprehend the information that we're giving to you. I mean, if you've got cancer and you go to a doctor, he'll give you radiation and all sorts of other stuff, right? Because that's what he's been taught to do. But if you come to me, I'll give you bicarbonate soda and cannabis oil. So again, one will cure you, the other one will irradiate you. Which one do you want to do? But the point is, I know the difference because I've bothered to look. Your doctor hasn't. He's been indoctrinated with the information. And that's the massive difference. You take it upon yourself to educate yourself. And that's what everyone, this is what loads and loads and loads of us are doing now. Instead of going to somebody that we thought we could trust. I mean, you go to your dentist, for God's sake, you put amalgams in your gullet, and that's like, seriously, some mercury vapor, and just do some research on amalgams and black light. You'll see it straight away, if you don't already know. But that's another area to it. If you already know this stuff, you've done your research, so you automatically, I get it already because I've gone and researched it. So that's the point, because we've done that. We have the higher ground. We have the ability to see further than most people because we've spent such a long time educating ourselves with the information that we're going to need to know in order to understand and comprehend what's been going on. And that's just the way it is. You talk to a Jehovah's Witness and they'll go, as long as it, anything not in the Jehovah's Witnesses sites just doesn't exist. And that's the problem. They've put themselves in the Jehovah's Witness box. And if it's not given to them by their higher-ups, they won't listen to it. And that's the beauty of the construct, and that's the religious construct that they're in. But it's not just them. It's lots, maybe, it's all of the other religions as well.
All of them. Yeah, I was going to say, why are you stopping with lots? It's every one of them.
I was trying to be really, really politically correct.
No. We don't do political correct on this show, remember?
Yeah, I know.
Not while I run the board. I was going to say, Tony, that's your job. My job is the other side of that.
This is it. The point is, I could turn around to you and I'll tell you some stuff now, right? This is going to shock the shit out of a lot of people. You know that big cube that they walk around? The Muslims. Yeah? That big, massive black cube that they walk around.
Yeah, the Rubik's Cube that no one can see, yes.
No, Metatron's cube. It's sacred.
I know about it. Yeah.
Yes. Right. Same sort of cube, it's representative or symbolic of the same cubes that the Jesuits stick on their front third eye. Think back to your Jesuit rabbis, etc. Well, it's sacred geometry. So they're worshipping the structure of nature itself inherently, as we all are. If you take a cross in a piece of paper and you fold up the sides, you end up with 6 sides when you folded it all up. It's a geometric shape. And this, at the core of reality, is the truth of what is real. But it's been twisted and converted into a religion. It's wonderfully clever how they've done it. It's excellent. But anyway, the point is we're waking up to it now. But there's a lot of different subjects here, and I don't want to get totally lost. But what I was going to say is, if you actually really know what's going on, you'll find that inside that cube that all those Muslims walk around in the anti-clockwise direction, you'll find some of the elites. Because what the elites are doing, they've gone into that cube from underground and they're up inside the cube and they are drawing the energy from the masses, from their worship of that cube into themselves, and they are powering up their own energies, having switched on certain elements of their DNA. What's really going on behind what you think is going on is completely different, and it's completely sinister. But you need to understand it on a level that makes sense. Do you see what I'm saying? If there was a Stargate episode called The Ori, and it was all about everybody worshipping the Ori, and the Ori was just this eye that was made up of flames that sat in this thing that was up on an altar. And it was like, you will worship the Ori because the Ori are brilliant and they've done this and that and the other, and you wouldn't exist because of them. In other words, where attention goes, energy flows. If you worship something, you give it your attention, you give it your energy. And what these bastards have been doing is collecting the energy and using it for the negativity that they want to do. And it's not just the Muslim cube that I'm talking about. All of these religions. The Vatican is very much included. It goes much deeper than people have any idea. But I'm going to be blowing the lid on some of this in book 3, to say the least, and that's coming up very soon, guys. So you better keep your get ready for that one by reading book 1 and book 2, because you'll need to have done the homework. If you haven't, you ain't going to be ready for book 3, period. Over to you, Kate. Rant over.
Sitting back on. He's on a roll. Let him roll. No, good on my friend. I really wish we can do about that background you got going on. Just batty. Anyway, such is the way of technology, and why I'm such a non-technocrat. I use the tools because they're there, but a lot of people actually end up worshiping these things. So I'm still kind of not sure on which direction I want to go, and I got a couple of ideas that I'd like to do, but I just don't know how much you guys can handle tonight. Because I go in one direction, you'll understand what I just said. So I'll feel my way through this for now. Anyway, I think what we'll do is, let's open up the calls anyway. So we'll go to the first one in, and lo and behold, hello, Carol. I'll bring you into the call, hun, then we'll go down the list and see what's on people's minds. How are you?
I'm fine, sweetheart. How are you?
Good.
I love your music. I am so in love with your music. I just can't even believe it. There's something very hypnotizing about that song that you play at the beginning that you wrote and play and sing, and your music is awesome. I just hope someday I can get a hold of some of it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's there's I think 15 songs on one of the sites out there. I'm gonna try to upload some more to it, and it's all there available for people for free. So there's a lot of expectation. There's a lot of expectation that something might happen over the weekend or this next week. I sure hope so. We've heard April 22nd is an important date. We've heard April 25th, and then of course they're having the disclosure thing in D.C. on the 29th through the 3rd of May, and then they're having, I guess the most recent thing is May 1st. We might see something. It's a good date. But we've heard that. I've been doing these things. I've been involved heavily with this stuff since 98, and every week it's a new date, and so I don't get too excited about it. I put it out, but, it's God's work, and it'll happen when it happens, so that's where it's at for me. Yeah, well, and it's about people, coming to terms with themselves and waking up, and that is part of the free will. That and people are going to decide to wake up or not. People are going to decide to look at something and see fear or see, love. Courage. Fear and courage are opposites. Love and hate are opposites, and equals at the same time. And you're right, Carol. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and not as long as you, but. In my little over 5 years, I've seen a lot of things come and go.
Oh boy, they're wanting us to stop talking about it. Did you notice that?
No, actually, did I?
Yeah, the minute you start saying in 5 years and so forth, and a lot of things, they started blasting you.
Oh, well, I feel special.
You are special, my dear. Always know that.
Yeah, they don't like me much, and that's okay. But I love them, and I will grant them. Yes, we need
to send them love. That's right. Because as long as we stay in fear and anger, they have control of us. So if we can just bless them, say the law of one over them, and just try to stay in joy and happiness, they won't have the control over us that they've had for all these many eons.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's, like I said, it's one of the things that I fight with every single day. As I said before in other shows, with the Leo ascendant, Venus ruling, the one thing that controls and completely controls me is my heart. And the strongest is a part of anything that you are will always be its equal and opposite, absolute weakest part as well. The strongest part of the chain is also the weakest part of the chain.
Yep, like a pendulum. However far to the left it will go the other side to the right.
Exactly. So, and that's something to keep in mind.
We will have a very good show today. I love you, and I'm going to mute out, sweetheart.
Okay, I'll leave you open on this end, so when you feel like jumping in, feel free. Love you too, Tony.
I love you.
I can never say that enough. Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
I'm just going to say, Carol, I I listened to one of your shows today for the first time, and it's very interesting stuff. Massive range of information in there. There's so many topics. It's difficult to pinpoint one, but the one thing that really does concern me with regards to this Sharon Nidal stuff, apart from the things that all the dates are always changing, is all, there's been a bit of a plan at foot, and I think that's part of it. There is a lot of information within that is misinformation. It's the same. It works the same as religions do. They give you some information that's accurate, and then some that's not, and then some that's allegory, and then some that's disinformation. And I see a lot of that in the Galactic Federation stuff that comes through, and I've been seeing it for years. So this is not just a 5-minute observation. In fact, everybody I've approached on it, nobody has managed to convince me that that it's all true, because it's not. There's a lot of information in there that's not actually accurate. So I just wanted to point that out there as an honest, and I'm trying to be as nice, as good, as accurate as possible. It's not exactly what it seems. There is a plan for disclosure. There is a plan for a saviour. There is a plan for, come with me, you can trust me, we're going to save you, just get on the ship, etc., etc., etc. But there's a shitload more information behind all of that. So yes, we are going to be receiving this information. We are going to be seeing the ships. Get ready. But having said that, you can't trust everything you think you can trust. You don't, at the moment, most people don't understand the amount of incredible stuff that's going to be going on, including what you would term as magic. Right in front of your eyes, you're going to be seeing people perform stuff that is absolutely beyond belief, and things occurring that you thought you'd never see, but that's part of the plan. The reality is, the technology we had to build the pyramids 50,000 plus years ago has been hidden for 50,000 plus years. So where they've gone from when they could do that to where they are today, and it's still being hidden, is going to be way beyond your comprehension to understand the level of the truth and the true technology that we're going to be seeing. It's going to be holy shit, and it's going to be very, very convincing. So just, what I would suggest is resonate a lot more deeply with that information and research the shit out of it. Don't ever stop researching. Turn the TV off, put a hammer through it. That thing will screw your mind, and it has done. Forget your football, forget all of this mind control and this hypnosis. Look at the foods you're eating, look at loads and loads of different aspects of your life, because if you're not researching this stuff to the point where you get it when it happens, you're going to be in trouble, because the whole of this experience we've had, i.e. our lives within this construct, have all been trap after trap after trap after trap. We've been brought up on traps. So when you finally when you begin to see the traps all around you, you get good at spotting them, yeah? And that's the training that we're going to need. That's why the Bible is the Bible, the Quran is the Quran, because we've got to decipher the codes within these gameplays and learn to see them for what they really are. The truth within them, and the allegory that's built around them, and the bullshit that's plastered all over them. And that's the point. When you can discern that you're playing a totally different game, you're on your game, you're an athlete. And that's where we need to go. We need to get everybody athletes dealing with this stuff. Yeah?
Yeah. Well, it's easy. Follow your heart.
Yeah, resonate.
Go ahead,
Thank
Carol.
you so much. Well, I was just going to thank Tony for taking the time to listen to the call and give this information, because we're all learning, and I certainly am a newbie compared to a lot of people. I mean, that's what evolution is all about, learning from each other on the way, and we will always learn. So, Tony, don't ever suppress anything that you think that we need to know. I'm very pleased that you came forth with that, and yes, that's why we're we're dispensing with the Sheldon Neidl reports, because it's just not resonating with us anymore. It never has with me, but so many people in our phone family had listened to it and liked it and so forth. But no, we made a decision Thursday night to cease and desist with those, and we're going to choose something else. And if you guys can point us in the right direction, there's the Matthew letters, and there's John Smallman, and there's just so many other beautiful things that we can present,
Do you know what would be really, really, really beneficial for you and your crew? And it's provable. And I'll tell you what, Bible codes. Start studying the Bible codes.
The Bible codes, okay.
Absolutely, because you're going to find times, dates, names, birth dates, assassination dates of people in historical fact that have been born and died on certain times. You're going to find so much stuff in that. I mean, contact me, Carol. I'm on Skype. I don't know. I think you do Skype, don't you?
No, I don't do Skype.
Okay.
Not yet.
Well, we'll get you the information. We'll get you what you need to look at. But above all else, I would honestly, with all the best integrity in the world, please download a copy of the book that I've written and just skim through it at very least, so you get the game plan. Because
what book is that, Tony?
Blueprints of Cosmic Consciousness.
Blueprints of Cosmic Consciousness. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much.
It's on Syncrenicity. Just go to my bio page on Syncrenicity. All the links are there, and it's free. It's not going to cost anything.
Blueprints of Cosmic Consciousness. Is that it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Blueprints of Cosmic Consciousness on www.syncrenicity.com. That's SYNCRENICITY.com.
Yeah, I was there last night, and I can't access anything because I can't get in. It won't accept my email address and my PIN number or my password. So I've got this problem with Google, and that's one thing I wanted to find out from you guys. I'm going to have to talk to you offline, Kate, because it's very involved, and I need to find another source of control on my internet other than Google. They're a very dark organization, and they've attacked me, and they won't let me into email or anything now.
Well, it's as soon as you start exposing too much, they like doing that. That's why we need to power you up with a little bit more information. You're already in the untouchable realms. And we're still getting punched every so often with interference with the shows based on what we're talking about. Last couple of nights have been rather incredible, and of course, both nights I had the same intention to get the same information out, and I do want to share that tonight for everyone as well. It's not going to be an easy one for people to accept. Truth never is, but the good news is it doesn't require your belief either. That's how truth works.
It is what it is, isn't it?
Exactly. It is what it is, and if you look at something that is white, you're not going to decide it's anything other than that. You can call it blue, pink, orange, yellow, whatever, but the truth is, to everybody else and to the truth, it's still white. I wrote by any other name. Sir Francis Bacon said it. Shakespeare, all the same guy, said it best. A rose by any other name is still a rose.
Yeah, Saint Germain, huh?
Yeah, lots of interesting characters throughout our history, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys are terrific, and I'm just so happy we found you, and most of our phone family tunes into you now, and I know that they're being in joy of finding you and listening to everything that you have to say. So I'm going to mute out and let you guys go forward. I love you both, and Santos, too. You guys are terrific.
Well, right back at you, kiddo. Right back at you, and all your phone family as well. Because one of the things that is absolutely critical in this game is discernment. And the minute you decide something is up, it might just be down. I don't decide on anything. I just simply go with the flow and see where it leads. And the truth will always out. It always shows up. It's like everything I ever need in terms of information always comes across my desk at some point. Somehow, some way, I always find out exactly what I need to know when I need to know it. And I don't have, hey, it's a one-stop truth shop. I don't have to do anything. It just shows up.
Well, when your heart is open, sweetheart, like yours is, creator, source, supreme being, God, whatever anybody wants to call that force that created us, fills your heart with the right things. So, yeah, you're operating on the right system.
Yeah, it's a frequency, and again, and I tell people this all the time, and I know the brain has deceived me many times, but I know my heart has never let me down, and it has always been right, whether I wanted it to be or not, and that's where you have the hardest time coming to terms with it. It is what it is. It's truth, and that's it.
Well, the thing is, we use our mind. The mind was, from what I have learned, and I could be wrong on this, I don't try to convince anybody of anything, because it's just information I've learned to that point, and I could believe something different next week, depending on what comes in. But what I've learned is that the mind collects the information, and the heart is supposed to decide what to do with it, but the dark agenda has programmed us to do everything out of our mind, to not go to your heart. And that's something we have to learn to do now, because we've been programmed differently. We have to let our heart decide what we do with what we've taken in with our mind.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love using the old sayings. It's sayings like, well, if you're considered crazy, well, you're not in your right mind. You must be out in left field somewhere. I mean, they all matter. Every saying that you can ever think of matters. They all come into play. It's like the long and short of it. Who'd have thunk it was about birth certificates? Well, that was one of the layers I found. That's the long and short of it. Can be a lot of different things, but I'll tell you, it really, really sunk home when I was working steadfastly on that late last year, and have been for the last couple of years, trying to get this message across to people. I could give it out in a really easy nutshell for everyone. Okay, here are the facts. Doesn't require your belief. You can fight, and you can let that internal dialogue keep going and convincing you otherwise. But if you can shut up the left mind, tricky little bastard ego thing that you have, it's been running your life and ruining it, you might actually learn something here. So here we go. Fact. If you have a name, which chances are you do, you are in spiritual and physical fraud. That's a fact. That's not a theory. All right? If you carry identification from a government source, you have, in fact, committed fraud on the spiritual and physical realms. Because in the spiritual, it's all about intent. In the physical, it's all about the action. Right? And until we can read each other's thoughts, I don't know what your spiritual mind is all about. But I can certainly tell what you were thinking by your actions. So it's always after the fact that we understand the spirit because of the actions of the individual. That's why in any of their silly little courtrooms, they have to prove intent. They have to prove that you meant to do it spiritually. Because the physical action doesn't always completely say what the intent was. Difference between a deliberate act or something that would be deemed accidental. If as an example, a child runs out in front of a car and the individual can't stop in time, and the child ends up getting hurt really badly. That was certainly not the intent of the individual to run the child down. But of course, it always has to get looked into. So it's about how we look at things. All right, so there's the facts there, and I will tell you why. Because you see, when we're all born, we all get here. Parents, of course, generally are involved. Well, we hope anyway, unless you're a clone. And all clones listening, please don't take offense. That's the way it is. Anyway, keeping it light. Now, Mom and Dad didn't know that because when they registered you, the name, that they were actually selling you. That is a fact. And you can go back to slave trading days when they were trading slaves with a piece of paper, because not every slave owner could get to every slave market with slaves that they were planning on selling, but they could certainly transfer everything around with paperwork. It's a lot easier to carry a briefcase full of paper than to have 10 or 12 slaves take to market, so to speak, right? So there's your stock and bond market. Pay attention to the listening words, guys, not what you thought they were because of the spellings, right? What are the old stocks? Well, that's generally what they stuck your head and hands through when you pissed off somebody and they got to throw tomatoes at you. Bonds, well, typically, to me, that's something that would be considered a glue of some sort. Spiritual binding, if you will. You were bound to your word. You were tied to it. So what happened when Mom and Dad decided to go and register you, me, all of us? What they weren't aware of was the ramifications of that contract, because they thought they were doing the right thing. And had my Mom and Dad known that they were actually selling sister and I into slavery for benefits, chances are, I don't think they'd do it. I don't think anyone would do it knowingly. So there was a little lack of disclosure there. So the real problem here is not that the fraud has been committed on us. It's been committed on our parents, of which we are stock. See what I mean? So they had to. That's where it went from the bloodline stock to the paper stock. We're going to try to look up stock, the definition. There's 4 of them in Black's Law 9th. You'll start to get a better handle on how we got papered over the years. And they've been doing it drip by drip. They don't want to make it too obvious. Okay, so when Mom and Dad go in to register, or as I like to explain it, Regis, stir. Regis to rule, stir, the divine creative feminine spiritual essence. Your divine feminine, the actual creation part of you, gets handed over to rule the feminine. Register. And what they're doing is, because the child is the labor of Mom and Dad, because Mom is fiduciary, Dad is beneficiary. Look up Word of Admiralty definition in Black's Law 9th, and you'll see how they took that universal spiritual thing and put it into a piece of paper. So when they go in to register the child, what they're effectively doing is, because Mom has taken Dad's name on, and the surnames are all owned by the Crown. That's just the way it is. It goes back to Eddie Longshanks, back to the 1300s time frames. Okay, so I don't want to get too technical here. I want to keep it. And you can research all this if you want. I know I did. Bring a backhoe. You better bring a bigger one than I did. Effectively what's happened is Mom and Dad go into agreement with the state saying, well, okay, Dad's beneficiary, so he's going to give up the fruit of Mom's labor, right? Literally. Contract ions, contractions, labor, delivery, delivery, to kill, deliver. Get it? It's all there. You just got to look at it and listen to it at the same time. So Dad gives up all the rights, you see, because the true ruler here is the feminine. I'd like to see a guy give birth. I'm sure he'd bitch and whine about it too. No. I think it's tough enough for the divine feminine to take care of that. Now, what happens then is this. Because there was intent to register the child, they have you spiritually. Ignorance is not a defense of or from the law, be it universal or man-made. You see, this is why we need to awaken. And people say, well, it's not my fault. I say, well, it was. You didn't know. But you've had a lot of stuff going against you here. We've got to take responsibility for our own ignorance. Because the minute you keep blaming somebody else outside of you, the longer you're going to stay trapped in your little circular pit. So if you want to get out, you better just quit your whining. You better just shut up and move along. Because quite frankly, I'm not going to listen to it. I'm going to tell you where to go, and I'm going to tell you how to get there, and I'm going to give you a broom handle to make sure it goes. Because, hey, I had to look into it. I had to face up to it. Because my only quest was to find out how we were in dishonor where the courts weren't. And why the cops can get away with beating people up willy-nilly. Well, I'll tell you why. Because they're in complete universal honor. Because that individual that they're beating up doesn't know who they are. Well, if they're carrying a wallet or a purse with government identification, you're in contempt of any court on this planet. High or low, it doesn't matter. Because you don't know who you are. And you're a walking zombie, I'll tell you. I got here on June 15th, 1964. I was murdered on June 18th, 1964. 3 days later. Because the birth certificate is actually a death certificate. Everything's in the mirror here. So you're a zombie. So let's take you to zombie school and let's try to get you out. If you can handle it. If you can't handle it, not my problem.
Well, maritime explanation of what that it means might help.
No, I'm not going to get into it, Tony, because it doesn't matter. That's all distraction for me now. And that's the problem. People get caught up in it. We've already done the homework. If they want to do the homework in maritime and try to line up everything that I'm saying, that's their job. I've already done mine. I can give you the answers. And if you want me to show my work, well, you got about 5, maybe 6,000 hours of radio time to be listening to. So you better get your downloader in full swing, because I've already said it before many, many, many times. So I'm not going to even get into that. But good point, though, Tony. If you want to dig this up, go into look at maritime, Admiralty law, all the rest of the crap that goes along with it. It's all Phoenician, right? Phoenician. All right, so so what's happened then is Mom and Dad have literally handed over your soul, mind, body, and soul to the state, the new daddy. Because what do you get from the state if you do that? Well, you get benefits. It goes from beneficiary to benefits. Almost the same word, isn't it? Well, of course it is, because they got to tell you, but they don't have to tell you outright. You just got to pay close enough attention. Gosh, that sounds an awful lot like, yes, it does. Okay, so what happens then is Mom and Dad have actually committed the original sin. They sold their child into slavery. And they're guilty. Forgiven. They didn't know. It's not their job to worry about it. It's mine. You see, we've got to save our own children here. And we only do that by saving our parents. It's a two-way street, guys. We save each other. We do this together. All right, so I'm going to try to show you how that's done. There are documents kicking around right now that are already getting out there. And I would ask anyone that has access to Scribd or anything like that to get the long and short of it document. If you have a copy of it, get it uploaded somewhere on the web so you can Google it. That's all. Just get it somewhere where it can be Googled. Because I got enough to do. I've got it uploaded on Facebook and a few other places. So, but I want it Googleable so that people can find it. So Google, although is your enemy, it's also your friend. Use the tools, don't be one. That's what I do. Same with fascist book. All works for me. All right, so what Mom and Dad have done now is they've sold you, lock, stock, and barrel, into the system. And there's no more bitching rights, because as soon as the first check comes across for baby bonus or anything else, the contract is complete. You've taken payment. That's not saying that they didn't create $1 million on that bond when they did it, but again, that's all debt note anyway. And if you want to play that game, go ahead and talk to Heather Tukey Giraffe, or whatever the hell her name is, the ex, never an ex-lawyer, but talk to the ex-lawyer at Opt. And they'll let you opt in. I'm not saying here. I got to tell you, and I got to make this very, very clear, okay? Because one of the things that you'll notice about COINTELPRO operations is they always have a really big carrot, and they always have a savior attached to it, where you don't actually have to do anything. Just be, do, have, be love, and all the rest of the shit that goes along with their crap. Okay, yeah, you got to do those things, but you should be doing them anyway, you morons. Sorry, I'm just going to call it as I see it. If you can't be, do, have, love, you've got issues. And you need to get on with your life, and you need to start sorting yourself out. And the best place to start is head to your bathroom, look in the mirror. Or if you have one in the bedroom, full length is probably the best. You get a chance to really scope out what your situation is. All right? Because the only one that you can judge is that. The one that's standing in the mirror looking back saying, you better get something done here. Otherwise, you're going to keep playing this cycle over and over. It's up to you. If you love this particular nightmare that you're in, by all means, keep doing what you're doing. That's what all insane people do. They keep doing the same shit over and over and over again, expecting a different result. Well, here, I'm going to give you something completely different, and now for something completely different, and I'm going to see how it wiggles your worm. I'm going to see how well it sits on your hook and see what kind of fish you can catch. Guaranteed, I caught myself a few big vat ones, Vatican style. All right? They didn't like me much. All right, so here we go. Now that you've been sold into the state, Mom and Dad have taken payment. How are we guilty? Because we don't know. Well, I'll tell you how. It's really simple. And the state gets to stay free and clear of it, staying in complete honor, because there's one thing the state isn't doing. They're not convincing you of anything. It's your mom and dad doing all the work, walking around calling you that name all the time that they sold, convincing you that name is the one you're supposed to have, convincing you that you need to go out and get this, like a driver's license. By the way, if you got your driver's license at 16, it's an invalid contract anyway. All right? They contracted with a minor. I do believe it's underage majority. all right? And you go into any court, and no contract is valid if you're going to contract with a minor. And that's what a birth certificate is. They're trying to get into contract with a minor, but they're making mom and dad guilty of it. It's really quite simple. So mom and dad, and that applies to, I got kids too, right? So this is the mirror talking. I had to figure out what the hell I did to screw it all up, and how the hell I'm going to get out of it. And the thing is, it's fractal, right? So if I did it, then someone did it to me, and someone did it to them, and so on and so forth, in a drip-by-drip fashion. So this is how it was unraveled. This is how it was looked at. All right, so now you know that mom and dad are aiding and abetting in your fraud, because they're telling you that you're a name that you're not, and they're the ones convincing you that because everyone else is doing it, let's go and get some government paperwork. Let's go to the bank and get a mortgage, a death pledge. Let's do this instead of actually working for things. And this is where your inflation came from. It was by virtue of going to these banks in the first place with all the interest. That's where your inflation is. People say, well, my house went up. No, it didn't. The money went down, you dope. It's all backwards.
Usury.
What's that?
Usury.
Oh, yeah. Something that was forbidden in England. The only ones that were allowed to do it were the Jews. And that's why when Edward Longshanks, King Edward, kicked all the Jews out of England, he didn't kick the contracts out. He just took them over. Because Christians and Muslims, it is against the law of the highest order to charge usury. And the only ones that could do it and did it were Jews. So there was a net profit to be made. And of course, there's another original sin. Get into that another day. That's a history lesson. But yeah, just look up Eddie Longshanks. He actually spent as much time studying legal and lawful stuff as he did, murdering Irish and Scots and anybody else that ever got in his way. All right, this guy was one evil bastard, but he was a very smart evil bastard. And guess what? He was Gemini. But I bet he didn't have a Leo ascendant. Probably had a Scorpio ascendant, right? That went south on him. And that's not to say bad things about Scorpions, because Scorpios are very powerful either way. They're either the most benevolent or the most malevolent. So choose. There's no middle ground with those. That's one of the beauties of that sign that I found anyway. Excuse me. So now where were we? Okay, so you've been walking around convinced that you're this name, because you know what? Lo and behold, the government sent the only document that was ever sent to your mom and dad regarding you. The only one that was ever sent of the government, by the government, from the government, the state, to your parents. And that was what, Tony?
That was the birth certificate.
Yeah, bingo. See, Tony's smart. He gets it. All right? That's the only document that your parents ever received regarding you. And then what did they do? They said, whoa, this is yours. And they gave it to you. And they convinced you that it was yours, and it's not. Nothing to do with you. I got to say, it's got fuck all to do with you. Nothing. Everyone's walking around, that's a straw man, that's a corporate name. Then why are you using it? Are you so attached to it? Of course, it had to be something from cradle to grave. Cradle to grave. What can we do to trap people and make them fight to the death for it? Okay, well, honor's there, but no. It's got to be something simple, the name. Let's give everybody a name, and then convince the ones that actually created the given name, which they gave as a gift to the state, literally. Look up gift in Black's Law or any book, and you'll see what a gift is. It's given without consideration. You can talk about mortgages and all the rest of it. Well, there has to be consideration. No, there doesn't. Because the name you put on it didn't have any. So you better start looking real close at this shit. You better start seeing it from the very logical side of things. You better start feeling this. Otherwise, you're going to keep walking around, pounding yourselves into the ground. And I'm standing back in complete frustration going, I've told them. That's why they got away with what they did with me and everybody else. That's why they get away with it. And the reason why they do it in drip-by-drip fashion is, well, they don't want to give away the whole game. That way they would be able to get more people trapped into the Chinese finger trap. Because as soon as you're in the Chinese finger trap, the harder you pull to get out of it, what happens? The stronger it holds. And what they've done is the Chinese finger trap people is your ego. It's that belligerent little bastard that says, that's your fault. It's not my fault, it's your fault. That's an ego, okay? Instead of looking at it going, that's our fault. That's our fault. What part of it's mine? Because in every dance there must be two. And, well, unless you want it freestyle, but you get the analogy, right? Okay, good. All right, so let's carry on here. Now, you've spent a lifetime until age yourself as a, quote, adult, legally speaking. And here's where we are at today. So it's a very, very simple thing. It is a very, very simple thing. And I'm just wondering if I should read anything. Tony, what do you think?
Well, do you resonate with reading something?
Well, I'm thinking that I could go through the long and short of it. It's a fairly lengthy document, but it will give an outline of it. Also, here's one you can Google, and it will show up very quickly for you. Invocation of the Cross, and that's Invocation of the CRSS. Now, the CRSS is an anachronism for Clausula Rebus Sic Stantibus, which is an escape clause in a treaty. You see, Mom and Dad went into treaty with the state, but there was something that wasn't revealed. There was something that wasn't told to them, that they were selling their children into slavery, figuratively, literally, body, mind, and soul. This is not just a physical contract. This is an ethereal contract. And while you keep fighting and keep screaming and grabbing that chain that's not even attached to you, you're the one holding on to it, silly. You know, but it's got a rod a mile deep into the earth, and you're pulling and pulling and pulling and saying, I got to get away, I got to get away. Well, you got to let go. You got to let go. You got to let go of all the illusions you ever thought were real. And that's going to be really, really hard for you, because you're going to look around, you're going to see your bank accounts, and you're going to see your house, and you're going to see your car and your loans and your debit cards and your credit cards, and oh my fucking God, I can't do anything if I don't have any of this stuff. Yeah, no shit. Welcome to my world.
Yeah, bloody clever design, isn't it? But that's that's when it says you need to be born again. You need to know who you are, and that's the point. It's going to be awesome, because people have got to do it. That's the point.
Or what'll end up happening are people that actually do it, like me. We're eventually going to get silenced, and that's not because we're going to get attacked or anything. We're untouchables, but we're going to get to a point where we just can't survive anymore. And we've been there many times, and we've hung by a thread many, many times. Tony, we'll write a book about it someday. But let's just say that the roads that we've walked, I guarantee you, most people listening right now, you're too pussy to do it. But you don't have to. But you have to do something, because the intent has to be there. That is where the consciousness and the spirituality comes into play. You don't have to do what we did, but you have to do something. You can't just sit back and go, oh, well, I wonder who's going to come save me. What?
What was it? They came for the Jews, they came for the Muslims. By the time they came for the trade workers, there was nobody left to save me.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you broke up there and you cut out. So there it is, very clearly in a nutshell. And I've explained this countless times now, but let's do it again really quick. So Mom and Dad sold you the name, literally, spiritually, mind, body, and soul, to the state, to Daddy. You want to understand the Daddy versus Daddy, look at Tammy Pepperman's work. Basically what Tammy Pepperman has is the cannon, and what I have is the trigger. And until this trigger is put in with that gun, nothing's going to fire. And what I'm telling you is this: if you walk into a court, you fool, without this information and without knowing who you are, you're going to get your ass handed to you. Because the courts will only let those win that they want, because they write the rules and they change them as they wish. So it's got nothing to do with, I don't know what anybody thinks they're going to get away with walking into a courtroom, especially, if you haven't had any, quote, bar association, quote, unquote, training. Because they're the ones that are used to their trickery and all the rest of it. And they could spew off whatever they want. They can rewrite the rules to whatever they want to make sure that you go down, and they will. and you can run up against them. But until this, you know who you are, and this original sin, this original fraud is discussed. Game over. You're in contempt, baby. You're in contempt of court. You're a belligerent. You are committing fraud. You were using it for identity. It doesn't belong to you. Tell you what, I said this last night, I'll say it again. Go to your neighbor and see if you grab their checkbook and start writing checks on their account and see what your neighbor says. Well, you've been doing it to the state forever. Every time you write a check, you're check kiting. You're committing fraud. Because that signature, although it creates money, is still getting drawn from a bond that doesn't belong to you. So even the use of money is criminal. I'm talking in the form of checks and what have you. Money, yes, absolutely still criminal because it's all owned by the Rothschilds. They printed it, it's theirs. They're meant to only, all paper notes, Federal Reserve notes, sound familiar? You know, any bills? Do you like getting bills in the mail? You know, your electric bill, your gas bill, and your insurance bill, and your $20 bill, and your $50 bill. It's all the same shit, guys. So why do you chase? What's that?
Pay per.
Pay per, yeah, that's how you pay per. You pay per this way or pay per that way. They got you pay per'd all over, baby. It's all there. It's there in black and white. But your ego and your greed and your lust and your desire to keep up or better the Joneses will keep your sorry ass chained with a grip of steel that you're holding on to. It'll keep you chained to the earth. And you will never ascend because you can't let it go. You got to untie that balloon. Just at the end of The Wizard of Oz. That balloon wasn't going anywhere until, if you watch very carefully, the Tin Man, the hearts, the newly found heart, pay attention, all the clues are there, guys. It was actually the Tin Man. If you watch the movie, look at the scene, and he's the one that unties the balloon and tries to do it without anybody looking. But sorry, I just ruined it. No, many people have already seen it, but I also want to bring out the fact that it was the heart that had to let go. It was the emotions that had to be untied in order for that balloon finally to ascend. You know? And of course, Dorothy got left behind, but the door of God, Doro Theos, look up Toto Genere in Black's Law, and you might be surprised at what you find. That means adopting your full character. Toto Genere. So Toto wasn't just a coincidental name in the movie, by the way, nor was Doro Theos, the door of God, Dorothy. Okay? And of course, the Wicked Witch told you very, very clearly. She told you so very clearly. The last to go will see the first three go before her. That was the straw man, the fiction, the wicker man. The mindless one had to go. Then, of course, the empty vessel, the Tin Man. Lots of interesting things around tin, by the way, but we won't get into that right now. The Tin Man, who was the empty vessel, had to have his vessel filled with a heart. And of course, once you have the heart, you have to find the courage. And you got to get rid of your cowardly lion, because that's where most of the people I know, that's where they are. That's where they're at. They've got rid of the mindless one. They know the straw man, the wicker man is all bullshit. They know that, and they finally got the heart to do it. The only thing missing, the only thing left to conquer before you get to the Emerald City, the green, the heart, is courage. So watch the movie again and see how much you like being the cowardly lion. But he finally, at the end of the movie, got the courage. And that's all you got to do.
And this is why, if you look at the Royal Courts of London, for example, and look at the logo, look at the emblem, you'll see two animals. The one animal is the unicorn, which has got the single spiraling horn coming from its head, which means the spirituality of Christ. In other words, the connection, the pineal gland, the understanding, and the connection to the all. And on the other side of the actual emblem, you see the lion, which has the strength of Christ. So you need to unify the spirituality with the strength, the courage, and connect it all back together again. Because if you look at those animals, you see they're pointing in different directions. They're pointing outwards. What you need to do is turn them 180 degrees and bring them together. And it's the only thing that will release the unicorn from that chain that's binding it to the ground. If you look at the emblem, you'll see the unicorn's got a collar on with a chain that's chaining it to the ground, and it's chaining your spirituality to the duality of this construct. Again, it's all in the symbols. If you know how to read them, if you know what they're saying, if you know what they're trying to give you, it's in the movies, it's in the symbols, it's in the nursery rhymes, it's everywhere. If you can just see it. And that's the beauty of it. There will be those that have the eyes to see. And when you can see this stuff, it's blatant. But you need to be able to see it.
Yeah. Are you banging your desk, Tony? Because I can barely hear you, so you're not very close to the mic, and two, you're thudding the desk with the mic and it's bouncing.
Neither of which are accurate. Now, in my left hand, the mic, which is right in front of my face, and on the right hand, I was banging the desk, but just.
Okay, no worries. No, I just want to make sure that wasn't just something happening, so it's all good. No, bang your desk. That's okay. That works for me, actually. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. And also in the coat of arms, if you look very closely, the crown that is around the unicorn's neck, it's not fastened with anything. All you got to do is take the damn thing off. You got to decide to have your own crown instead of wearing the false crown of another. And you either are ruled by your crown, crown chakra, or you give yourself away to the triple crown of the Vatican, London, Washington, D.C., direct current. Entirely up to you. But you first before her. So you put them all together, and what have you got? Bibbidi bobbidi boo, guys. It's really simple. You know, we're in the land of chitty chitty bang bang, where all the children have been kidnapped, and the child snatcher is still running around. And remember how nice he was, how much we loved him. Not at all. And everyone was in fear of him. He was the boogeyman. Eventually the children escaped, and they took care of business. And that's what we have to do. So just to run it right back through again. Mom and Dad sold you into slavery, convinced you were the name, so they are actually the fraudulent ones. They're the ones that committed the original sin, selling their child, and then convincing their child to use the name that they'd sold. Therefore, that would ensure that the child was going to be constantly committing fraud their entire life, unknowingly, unwittingly, and certainly not wanting to. The thing is, if you knew you were committing fraud, you'd stop, unless you were, one of them. So you have to ask yourself, are you willing to commit fraud anymore? I didn't think so. And here's the other trap that you can spring back. You see, in terms of the states, let's talk about the U.S. I'm from the UK originally. It applies everywhere worldwide, by the way. There's a birth certificate. You're owned. Now, for those in each individual state, because they're each countries, right? You talk to your Secretary of State. And it's about exposing that fraud. Go to the registration office if it still exists. There's always ways to just let people know this. I use email. I can't walk to Belfast. And I want shit out now. So I email it. And I got a response. Thank you for your correspondence. And I said, cool. Thank you for your acquiescence. I don't see any rebuttals here. Stands as filed. So now it's a different game. But everyone's going to say, well, you should get the... No. You're thinking physical meat stick again. You're much bigger than that. You're God. Ye are gods. Some pretty cool cat told me that. And I said, yeah, you know what, Jesus? I'm going to... Yeah, je suis. I am. Jesus, je suis. Jesus. No, it's all just a coincidence. Just a coincidence. Just look the other way. Go back to sleep. Go back to your popcorn, monosodium glutamate loaded potato chips, and your canola might as well be motor oil. Okay? Oh, by the way, that's what canola is. It's machine oil, so don't cook with it. Just saying. Little aside there. Now, how do we get out? Well, here's the thing. If you have a copy of that document, birth certificate, that should be the only thing you carry as a proof of their fraud. And you can make an absolute attestation at any point saying, listen, this is the only document that my parents ever received, and they gave it to me. Here you go. They won't take it. Because if they do, they're going to commit fraud. Because it says right on mine in particular, but this applies to all of them. It can't be used for identification. Oh, you might be able to use it at a bank, but that's where the source of it all is anyway. It goes right back to the Vatican, and it's all about the banks. They're banking your energy, baby. That's what the courts are about. Bank, bench. Huh? Tie it all together. You'll start seeing this. It's very, very simple stuff. It's so simple, that's how we missed it. Okay, so that's it. And you think, well, how do I get this and how do I get that? It says, well, you know, here you are trying to solve all your problems at the Drive-Through Truth Center. Sorry, this burger takes a little longer than 2 minutes, so don't get edgy. But this is clear and present truth if you can see it. This is a fuller understanding, and the only arguing that's going on right now is your inner dialogue that can't handle the fact that your life is going to change. But you got to choose. You have to choose. I did. Cost me dearly. I just finished a letter to Sue and my daughters today. I haven't had a very good week. I haven't had a very good 6 months thinking about what I wanted to write, but I finally got it written and sent. So we'll see what happens. It's either hello or goodbye. So I'm all in, kids. And the only thing I'm asking of you is not to waste it. That's it. Nothing more. There's no obligation to any gifts I give. I don't expect anything from you. Pretty simple, actually. And I do want to do a shout out. I've done it before. I'll do it again. We got into a bit of a bind, Tony and myself, and of course Santo needing to get over to Ecuador, and things got pretty desperate there. Another one of those right at the bottom moments, and a number of people pulled through to help out. That gratitude is my wish to flow back to you 1,000-fold. I'm not gonna mention one single name, because if I forget one, then I might as well forget them all. But you know who you are. You don't need a name. You certainly don't need a piece of paper. You don't need anything but to hear what I'm about to tell you. You see, you changed the world. Because without you, what I've been talking about tonight would never have been said. Without you, everyone listening wouldn't hear what is being said. Without you, it would be a different day today. And there was a couple of you that stepped up far and beyond and above, and you left me quite overwhelmed and in tears. And you know who you are. I don't need to mention your name. And I'd rather not, because that would just taint the pure spiritual beauty of you. Because I can see you. I can see your light from here. And I know one of you is on the other side of the planet. 2 of you, actually. Well, you are a team, right? One a little closer to home, but I can see you from here. And I need you to know that. And I need you to know that you made the difference. That's how we do this. We do this together. And as a net result, what you did helped me do what I do, so that others can help others do what they do. We're all connected, guys. This is fractal. This is sacred geometry. We are ducks in a row, and we'll either choose to stand as one or fall as one. There will be no more divide and conquer, unless you want that. That's entirely up to you. Keep playing the game. Keep watching the TV. Keep worshipping their idols. You know, and here's the joy. I know the people that I'm talking to right now aren't of that stripe, because the simple fact that you're tuned in right now means you're tuned in more ways than one, and more ways than I can count, and with more gratitude than I can muster in this lifetime. But I assure you, I will. That's why I do this every night. I'm not... If I wanted success in my life, if I wanted a lot of things, I certainly wouldn't be doing this at the cost that it has come. Not at all. But I'll tell you, the prize at the end of the day is worth it, because what I'm going to get to see more than anyone else that isn't awake is how beautiful you are. That's what I get to see. And that's the only thing I'm after. I want to peel off that tricky little bastard so bad to see the most beautiful beautiful essence of light this universe has ever known. Humanity is chosen. We are of a magnitude of creation that you have no idea. And I look around and I see people abusing their bodies. I've done it myself, for crying out loud. Abusing their neighbors, getting caught up in the materialism, getting caught up in the destroying of this most beautiful mother of ours. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for a bird to shit in its own nest, because eventually it's going to shit so much that it can't live there anymore. Fortunately for the bird, it can fly to another tree. Unfortunately for us, this is the only tree there is. So you better stop shitting in it. And that includes commercialism. That includes the whore of Babylon. That includes your needing to go and buy this trinket and that trinket, and making sure you have the biggest flat screen TV and the nicest car and the, oh my God, I've got more than you, next door neighbor. That's what's been killing us, and that is the whore of Babylon run rampant. She's run rampant. I've written a few things regarding the whore of Babylon that are pretty explicit. I'll do those another night, but I just wanted to assure you of that. And don't worry, Rebecca, I didn't forget about you, hon. I did forget to upload the tune, so we'll get that uploaded as soon as I can. Sorry, it's just I get overwhelmed here. I would love to be able to spend as much time as I can with each and every one of you. Unfortunately, I don't have that luxury anymore. I haven't had it for a very long time. And anytime I do get to spend one-on-one with people, it's very precious to me. Some people may not think it. I do. I do the best I can, guys. You can contact me on Facebook, please, and I will ask again. Facebook is very slow for messaging. If you do want to text back and forth with me, go to Skype, and I'll give you both. All right. You can contact me on Facebook at kate.rene.5. That's KATE.RENE.5, and you can get me on Skype, KATIE.RENEE.THOMPSON. Okay, my handle is Cygnus Trumpets, CYGNUS Trumpets, Cygnus Trumpets. Just think Swan constellation. You'll understand what I'm talking about. And as much as I want to spend as much time as possible with each and every one of you, group settings are far better for me in that I can talk to many at the same time. The luxury of one-on-one, it's just getting harder and harder every day. And I don't want to offend anyone because I know I will. That's just the way it goes. So I'm hoping you understood what I was talking about with regards to the name. That is you that's committing the fraud, no one else. No one else. And when you come to terms with that, now you have something to fight with. Because if you're walking into a courthouse thinking you're the name and you can get this statute and that code to work, you are so fucking wrong. You are blind. Because until you remove that initial fraud, they've got you. They own you. Literally. Mind, body, soul. Regis, stir. They are ruling your creative, divine, feminine essence. Until you claim her back. And that's it. And you won't claim it back fighting. You'll only claim it back with truth and getting people aware of it. But if you're walking around with a false id entity in your pocket, you're worshipping false idols. You are creating fraud upon other men and women. Because you're using something that isn't yours, and someone else that takes it from you, you have aided and abetted in your own fraud. In doing so, every transaction that is created with a name is fraud. Pure fraud. Now can you see how pervasive and how huge this issue is? Can you see how deeply entangled you are in this web yet? But here's the trick, you can see your way out too. Because once one can see the trap, one can see the exit. Unless you're a bunch of lobster. I mean, the lobster can walk into the lobster trap very easily, but is too dumb and too lazy to climb back up and back out the way he came. I'm sure there are a few smarter lobsters than others that actually do that, but for the most part, the masses, no, they will sit in the bottom of that lobster trap, and of course they'll get a little bit of plankton and whatnot coming through, and they're quite content because they have what they need. They've got their air, the water they breathe. They can get some nutrients and whatever, so they're not hurting. It's not really that much different, and they can just lie around and not have to do anything until the fisherman comes back and starts pulling on that rope, and then they get pulled out of their universe, and what do they end up being? They end up being the centerpiece on somebody's table. And that's what you're doing. You are the centerpiece on the banker's table. We're dealing with a very dark principality here that will do everything in its power to convince you otherwise in terms of illusion. It will bring in alien ships. It will, was it Project Blue Book or Bluebeam, or what is that, Tony? Did I lose Tony? Let me just check to make sure I haven't lost Tony here. Yeah, I lost Tony. Oh, no, there you are. Okay.
I was scrambling for the button.
Well, I'll keep talking otherwise. You know that Project Bluebeam, is it?
It's Project Bluebeam, yes.
Okay.
And what we need to explain to people just very briefly is that they've had this technology for eons. They've had it a long, long time. This place is a construct. This is a trap. We are literally on, prison planet Earth down here, guys. It's time to wake up. And it's not just me saying it. Peter Lavender, Timothy, what's his name? There's loads of people talking about this, including Richard Dolan. Timothy Good is the name I was looking for. There's lots of people telling you this. Ben Rich, he was the former head of Lockheed Skunkworks program. Lockheed Martin Skunkworks program. He said the stuff that we've got is beyond your wildest imagination, and it would take an act of God to get it released. You are the gods that we need to release. You're the people that have got to stand up and say, right, no, that's enough. We want the truth, and it's only the truth that will set us free.
Yeah, time to release the Kraken.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's let it out the bag. You've got to say, I will not comply. I do not comply, and refuse to partake in the system. That's the only thing that's going to bust this thing free. You, your will, and your actions. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. But what you're going to get out of it is way beyond a Star Trek future for your kids and your kids' kids and our future generations, who we will, make no mistake, we will be reincarnating into our children. We are our children. We're all one. The point is, what type of a future do you want? Because I'll tell you what, you don't want to look at the one that I've looked at, which is complete and utter control. And that's what we're going to get. Microchip population, living on next to nothing, eating dirt. That's basically what's going to happen. So we need to take our own future into our own hands and stop these bastards doing what they're doing. It's as simple as that, really.
Absolutely. And I think we got about 45 minutes left here, so I'm going to start opening up the lines. Sorry, guys, I got into a bit of a meandering little rant there, but I thought it was worthwhile information that you need to get, and if you don't get it, well, there's nothing more I can say or do to help you. The documents are there. It just takes a little bit of getting used to. It's not insane because it's completely different than anything you've ever seen before, and it had to be in the mirror. It had to be opposite. So I'm going to go to area code 612. Uh-oh. That would be you.
That'll be Elizabeth from Minnesota from Carol's call. I'm visiting today.
Hey, Elizabeth, how are you?
Good, I'm enjoying it, and thank you for making things that I've already known even clearer. The whole jaunt you just went through. And thank you for what you did, brother, because we are all one. But I tried to get on the last 2 nights, but the fizzies.
Yeah, we've been having some fun, eh?
It was good to have a break, though, huh?
Well, yeah, again, and it was, same message tonight, done in a different light, So I've been saying the same message for a long time, but I'm glad. You can see what I'm talking about, yeah?
Yes, absolutely. So, I've been on a whirlwind the last 3 years, for a long time, but the last 3 years are really a whirlwind of awakening. At this point, I've decided to sit back and enjoy my consciousness expanding and believe that I am limitless. Remember that I'm limitless. What do you think about that?
Well, I couldn't agree with you more, because that's what people need to do. They got to stop getting caught up in the whirlwinds of life and start understanding through meditation. No one spends any time with themselves, and it's sad because you're the most beautiful entity you're ever going to meet. You.
And you also.
So. Well, I'll kind of freak you out though, but that's okay. At
the beginning, you said you were deciding what you wanted to bring forth tonight, and was this what you're going to bring forth, or was there something else? I'm ready to get shocked some more.
I could read a letter I wrote my daughters and Sue, and I can show you part of what it cost me.
Thank you so much again. Thank you all, and I'm happy to be here. So.
Absolutely happy to have you, hon. And that's not, by the way, that's not to say this is what it cost me, guilt trip. No, I just don't want it wasted. I'm trying to show people the mirror. I don't want it wasted. I don't want you doing what I had to go through. I don't want anyone doing that. It's madness. But the truth that came out of it, I'm able to share. And that's all I want to do. Don't waste it. It's like, someone's handing you a bottle of Dom Perignon, and what are you going to do, drain it in the toilet? You will eventually anyway,
agree.
But you might as well enjoy it first,
I totally agree. If somebody can see the wisdom of that, if you can, whoever you are magnetized to sit in front of to learn from, and vice versa, everybody learns from everybody. But if you could see the wisdom of that, take what they know, and you can actually be on a springboard and boom, even go higher than they are, so to speak. Not levels, but just increase your consciousness higher, and then you teach them, and they get higher, and keeps going.
Absolutely,
it's really awesome.
I was going to say, here's a little profound truth for you. The two most powerful tools that have been used to keep mankind down, using the ego and greed, the Whore of Babylon, are these two things: copyright and patent.
That's good.
That's it.
Oh, wow, that's good. deep to think on. I just want to share with everybody. I was on the History Channel last night. They're talking about the '60s and the hippies, and kind of like the time cycle we're in now, but we're going to go higher, so to speak, expand in consciousness. But on that, they gave a movie they made back then called The Trip, TRIP. And I Netflixed it today, and it was actually it was just awesome. A good sign of what we're expanding into, and more. So
we've got a beautiful future, and we have a nasty future. Choose, and that's all you got to do.
We have a what? What was your last word?
We have a beautiful future, and we have a nasty future. Choose.
That's
it. Just choose.
Yep. We can make heaven on earth or hell on earth. It's up to us.
Choose. Yeah.
Now, what do you want? You want to chase the Whore of Babylon around with the mark of the beast on you, called the name, or do you want to get rid of all that stuff and let's get back to, as Bill Hicks put it, let's go and search the stars and search the inner earth. All the answers we need are on the planet anyway, at the bottom of the oceans.
Absolutely. I choose joy and limitlessness. What about you guys? Can you go further than that?
Yeah.
That works for me. That would keep I would be okay with that.
Yeah. Well, it's been a joy, and I'm going to stay listening. So, love you all, and love you, and we'll see you literally someday. soon.
Absolutely, and I guess you'll be on with us tomorrow night. We have Carol on East Coast joining us tomorrow night from 7 to 9 here on Critical Mass Radio. So I'm sure you'll be in on that. It's going to be a guaranteed interesting call.
Wouldn't miss it for anything.
The universe.
Thank you so much. Yes.
No problem, Elizabeth. Thanks. I'll put you back on hold here. Thanks for jumping in tonight. Much appreciated, love.
Sure.
Okay, let's go to area code 660. Carol, you got the nicest friends, hon. Area code 66036, first two numbers. Questions, comments, pizza. Okay, we'll put. Oh, did you just answer me when I said pizza?
Mhm.
What's with the mousiness? Who we got? Or do I got to give you pizza first?
Yeah, I don't think she wants to comment, Kate. Cool.
I guess not. Just a nice hi would be good. But yeah, you'll take the pizza. I gotcha. I'll make sure I order one. Okay, area code. Love you guys. You guys rock. Area code 817. 817. First two numbers 49. Just opened your mic.
Bingo!
Hey!
This is Chuck.
Chuck. That's what I
One
thought.
of Carol's people.
Yep. How are
I'm still like a babe in the woods. I have dreams, and I've had the dreams off and on for a long time. I'm lost in the middle of the forest, but as of late, I'm finding it easier to get to the light. So I believe that I am learning, and I am learning a hell of a lot on your call, if I can get on it. I've really missed it the last couple of days.
Yeah, us
and
too.
I'm waiting for the starships to land, because I have dreams about that too. And some of them seem to be quite crazy. Here's Chuck standing there, waiting for the ship to land, and all the people that are around me, they either take off and run like hell, or they stand there. In your opinion, Kate, do you think that we are going to see starships landing that have bad entities on them? Is there any reason for these people running when the starship lands?
Well, you see, here's the thing. One sec, Tony, and definitely I know you're going to chime in on this one. With me, it's strictly an intuitive. It's strictly a follow my heart in the moment of now. So I don't plan on anything. The only thing actually that's planned in my life are 7 to 9 p.m. every night. That's it. Other than that, it's like, whoa, where are we going? Tony?
Yeah, absolutely, Chuck. Listen, something struck me as soon as you said that, because I've experienced it myself, and it changes everything. Right, when you're dreaming that you're in this forest, and you're waiting for these ships, or you're seeing these ships come down or something, I want you to think about something. And what I want you to think about is, if you're conscious in that dream, therefore you're experiencing that dream, you're in control of that dream. Therefore, what you need to do, all you need to do, which is what the dream's trying to tell you to do, is just open your arms and fly and float above the forest. And then all of a sudden, all of the landscape of the forest all around you will come into view. And all of those years of all those dreams have been stuck in that forest will all in an instant make sense, because you've just taken control of your dream. You just open your arms and float and fly. And then everything will come into view. That's what it's trying to tell you.
Tony, you're a genius. I'll try that. Anyway, I am so appreciative of you, all you people on here. Carol and Elizabeth, I know. and I feel that I really know that everybody that speaks up on the call, and I'm learning from all of you. And I promise you that I will find my way, and I will help all the people around me find their way also. And it's pretty sad. Most all the people that I know, they seem to all be lost. They don't want to listen to anything that you might try to give them. I feel that it's going to be a huge undertaking to cut through all the fear with all the things that are coming up, no matter how much information the people have, because they have to sit down in front of their TV and watch all this stuff that they will look upon as being very horrifying. I can imagine what some of my neighbors will do when they see JFK on the TV screen looking as he did when he supposedly died in Dallas in 1963, I believe it was.
November 22nd, 1963, yep.
They're going to pass out. Now that's what I see.
Well, you know what? I agree with you to a certain extent there, Chuck. I'm going to take you up into a higher realm, a higher cloud on that one, because it's beautiful what we're seeing right now. Is because one, it ain't going to happen again like it did, because what the world was in. I mean, the world changed that day when Camelot was taken down. The world changed. That was a very defining consciousness moment, where everyone looked at Jack Kennedy as the king of Camelot, and Jackie, of course. John and Jackie. They were the king and queen. That was Arthur and Guinevere. And when they took him out, they took down Camelot. That's not going to happen again, because we have eyes to see now. We have ears to hear, and they ain't going to get away with it. And we got way better cameras too. So, and a lot more people with a lot more eyes that are out there doing the work, that are not letting that part of our consciousness get away with it anymore. And that's what's happening. It's not that there's more evil in the world today. It's just there's a lot more of it being exposed, and as a net result, there's actually a lot less evil. So it's a mirror. The mirror has turned, and there's going to be people, and that's what we're here for. There are going to be people that will be frightened, and it's not our job to go and save them. I told the story of being the rescue diver and how we had to learn the lesson of some people just aren't going to want to get saved, and they're going to drown you. So you just got to learn to swim away. As hard as that is, you have to learn to swim away. And if they're willing, only those that are willing, that want to be saved, will follow. Or calm down and relax and move with you. Until that point, don't drown yourself, because here's the thing. In the effort to save one, and we lose you, how many countless more were lost as a result that could have been saved? So it's a very selfish act to try to save the one. Very selfish. You move on. You swim. It's like I tell people. It says, you don't need to be anything other than the flame of truth. The moths will come, and if they come close enough, their wings will get lit, and they will fly off and be lights of their own. And that's all we have to worry about. And it might sound very selfish, but it's not. It's very selfless to do it that way. Because in trying to save the one, as I just said, you can end up losing yourself, at which point so many others that could have been saved have been lost. So it's a very selfish act. So we just stand together. We become the great wall of Gaia. We stand shoulder to shoulder. We do not yield. We stand opposed, and none will pass. And we just push it right off this universe. And that's how we do this. We do it together. We don't quibble and quabble. We don't smack children for asking questions. We don't berate them. We don't belittle them. I have my nights on rants. They're very deliberate, though. It's a bit of a shock factor to try to go, whoa, What's this tranny on? Well, I'll tell you, I'm on love. And this love's on fire. And that's how it works. So you want to hang out in the call here with us, Chuck? I'll leave your line open, and I'm just going to go down the list here and bring some other people in, yeah?
Please do, and thank you again so much. I'm learning. I'm a babe in the woods, but I am learning. Thank you again.
Thank you. We all are, Chuck. We all learn together, and it's, the joy of doing this is I get to be the best student of all. I got ears, and when I'm talking, I better make myself accountable to me first. So I learn big time doing this. So it's a perfect mirror to gratitude. So thank you. Moving on, 518. Area code 51860. Questions or comments? You want to jump in? That's just a listener. Okay. And we'll move on to area code. One sec, just got to write listener in there, otherwise I'll get all confused because there's so many numbers. Save that. Area code 828. 82855. Your mic is hot. Questions or comments? Hello? Anybody home? Or are you just listening? Just listening. Okay. This is pretty cool, Tony. We could eavesdrop on people and they wouldn't even know it, eh? What are they doing? Yeah. Yeah, we could be sneaky. I better write listener on that one too, or did I think I might have missed one. Area code 25270. Area code 25270. Questions or comments? Okay, I guess not. So just give me a second here, and I just gotta put listener in there so I don't screw these up and open the same lines again. Listener, and moving on down again. Okay, we got a bunch of callers in tonight, so I'm going to try to get everybody on that I can. I've got two area code 954s here, okay? So I'm going to go to the first one. So it's area code 954-21. 954, first two numbers, 21. Questions or comments? Okay, I guess not. And area code 954-55. Did I get that one right? Area code 954-55. Questions or comments? Okay, I guess not. So that's area code 42322. Area code 42322. Any questions or comments? Area code 423.
Not really yet. I'm just listening and learning like everybody else is.
Good stuff. Well, glad to have you. Glad to have you, hon. Thank you for showing up. Just nice to hear your voice. And again, this is just a phone call. Just a phone call. Okay, so I'll put you back in.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay. I think there we go. We'll just do it this way. And moving on, we have area code 21586. Area code 21586. Questions or comments? Okay, I guess no one there. And okay, I'm just wondering if the next one is memory serves might be Rob. So I'm just gonna write this one in here so I don't hit it again. Okay, what do we got? Area code 66174. 66174. Questions, comments? Okay. All right, and it looks like the last caller in this one is area code 71590. 71590. I'm trying to get your mic hot. There we go. There you are.
Just listening in. Yep, it's just Leah. Following you around, Kate.
You're funny. I love you. All right, no worries. No worries. So no comments you want to jump in with? No?
I'm catching late, so I will have to go in the archives and catch in, but just listening as always. So, yeah, I'm always absorbing. So thank you.
All right. No worries. Hey, and well, I'll put you back in hold then. And great to have you. Lindsay. I'm going to bring Lindsay into the call. If she'll talk. I don't know if she'll talk or not. Just trying to get it. There, Lindsay, are you... Oops, hit the wrong one again. Sorry, guys. Oh, Lindsay bolted.
Stop scaring listeners off, Kate.
I know. What is it? I know I'm scary and all, right? Okay, another one here. Area code 916.
Hi there.
Hey, hi there. Look, a voice. All right.
Thank you. Kate, you're beautiful. Tony, I just wanted to call and say I thank you so much. I feel so much comfort. It feels like the tribe is coming together and love is expanding, and we've got so much opportunity now.
Totally. Absolutely.
I couldn't agree more. I was kind of letting Tony jump in on that one. There you go. Keep going. Yeah. You guys are doing great.
Okay. I just wanted to call and say, wow, thank you so much, because it's hard to find comfort in the world sometime, but then you all of a sudden have found all these people that you can feel it. You can feel that we're ready for some changes. We can feel that most people are pretty loving, but they've been so ingrained in the fear and the old programming that they behave probably not like they should, but they don't know. And,
well, you're absolutely right. Absolutely. Oh, and who we got here? Just so I can pop a little...
this is Libra, Cancer.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing very well.
Okay.
I called through the phone line because I don't Skype yet, so I wasn't even too sure how this would work, but I just thought I would give you guys a call and a big group hug.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, you're hugging everybody, and that's the joy of this, and we're doing it together. And you're right. The people coming now are ready. They're ready. They're ready for change. We've had enough.
I think we've been ready, and if you go out on the streets, you'll look. Most people are very loving, and when they do get angry, it's just because they feel like everything's falling apart for them. Or, great. They're hurting in some way or another. And so hurt's coming out horribly. And then all this fear stuff that we've been I've turned off my television 3 years ago, but I'll still get the information.
And, more so. And more accurately.
Yeah, so it's nice that there's this outlet underneath the raging river waters, like this calm, and like people are deciding this isn't the world that we live in. We're going to live in a different place.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. We're making the choice.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd call so you could hear my voice.
Thank you. Go ahead, Tony. Tony wanted to say something there.
No, I was just saying what's happening at the moment is we're learning to distinguish what we thought was reality to what is real reality. And that way, that is empowering us to make the decision as to what world we want in the future. So it's all perfectly natural. It's all perfectly part of the flow. It's just what is needed at this time so that we can see again.
Yeah, because I remember when it first hit me, I did feel like that deer that's caught in the headlights, and I couldn't move. I was frozen. I didn't like that feeling at all.
Totally.
And then... with that feeling, you just kind of start thinking, okay, how do I want to feel? And then that's when the love starts surfacing, and then you start seeking it.
That's the beauty of design. It's meant to be so incredibly huge that you couldn't possibly get your head around it, and you shrink in fear of the enormity of what is really there. And that's why it's been designed that way. And this is not recent. This is going back thousands of years.
Yeah, it's in our DNA or something. We're wired. But we can wake up and get past it, I think.
Oh,
I mean, I am starting to see.
Yes, totally. But in order to do that, we just need to look at the different parts of it and why it's wrong, how it's wrong, who made it wrong, and how to fix it.
Yeah, and you know it. You know it when it's right, and you know it when it's wrong. Mm-hmm. And that makes you stronger for your children and for everybody else's children, and for yourself.
Absolutely. The hardest part for most people to accept is their own role in what has happened to them. And
gosh, I'm still a hypocrite, but you know what? At least I can see, you know.
And more importantly,
but that's when my
I was going to say
child self comes.
Yeah, and it's when we can turn around and say, "Oh, what a hypocrite I've been! What a doofus! What an idiot!" No, when you turn around and can actually go, "Oh, did I get duped?" I was part of the problem.
Oh, and you know that. I remember back when I was 4 years old, and I remember thinking, why are we eating this chicken, Mom? Like, this is gross, this is wrong. But then you get conditioned, because that's what we do, honey, right? So now here I am, meat-eating 50-year-old, and now my child self is speaking to me saying, well, you can change it. You don't have to wait till next lifetime. You can go back, and you can change what's not sitting right with you anymore. So I have the power to change what will fix me to feel better.
Well, the change comes from within. That's change your mind, change your universe, and that's what we're effectively doing. Is we are making those conscious, aware choices.
So instead of looking at everybody else, that's wrong and everything, start looking within and make those changes, and then it gets better.
Yep.
Right.
Lead by example. Too many people are, politicians leading by mouth and making all sorts of, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and then they never end up doing it. But everyone else thinks they did, so, and of course that where attention goes, energy flows.
Because your actions do speak louder than words or what you become.
Well, exactly. The actions are merely the physical representations of the intent that was already there. You say thought crime, if you want to call it that. These are things that some people will think about but will never manifest. But the simple fact is, it's getting your mind right so that those thoughts of vengeance and revenge and anger and attack and greed and all the rest of it, that they become less habitual. And you start removing those from your day-to-day dialogue, and of course from your day-to-day mental dialogue as well, so that you're actually thinking on other things, because your thoughts manifest in the multiverse. Absolutely. Go ahead, Tony.
Like you just said, you hit the nail on the head. Your thoughts manifest, but the point being is, why did we need to experience that in the first place? And there's your answer. You needed to experience that in the first place so that you could learn this information about having experienced that and therefore change it, and not turn left this time but turn right and change the entire future of what we're going to bring about and manifest.
And we don't have to wait.
We don't have to wait. We can do it right now. You
right now.
Get off your butt and you make it change. You take action. I can sit in my kitchen looking out at my garden, theoretically, and wishing the grass was cut and the trees were pruned and the flowers were beautiful, all the rest of it. Unless I get my ass out of my kitchen into the garden and start doing it, it's not going to change. No matter how much I wish or pray or want or, oh, please God, make my garden.
Well, hey, listen, Tony. I'm gonna come right back at you and slap you in the physical universe and say, well, listen, if you can do it right and do it well enough, somebody else is going to show up and do it for you. Sorry, sorry, just being a creator, bitch. Don't mind me.
Yeah, but it's detracting from the point. The point is, we've got to do this.
No, I know that, Tony. I'm actually adding.
I think we all are getting it.
Yep, you're getting it.
Yeah. So thank you so much.
Oh, Libra, no problem.
I know all the effort. I know all the energy, and I can't wait to start hearing you playing the guitar. That kind of stuff. But
well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna before we go off the air, I'm gonna toss on my signature song. This is the song of me, and then we come back. I can do the sign-offs with CMR, and then what I'll do after that is as soon as we roll into the recording, I will I'll read a letter. And so for those that are in the call, stay in the call, you will hear it. And for those, once we roll off the air, if you want to hear it, you'll have to download it. But I do want to share it, and I'd rather share it off on the other side with those that have called in and those that want to grab the archive. Not to make less of anybody else, but you want to hear it, then you're going to have to do something. You're going to have to download it. So I'm going to throw on "Field of Broken Dreams," a song I wrote in 1994, and came from a vision. It was actually a poem, and I ended up putting music to it. So without further ado, "Field of Broken Dreams."
Well, thank you again. You are songbirds to me, and we shall find peace, and we'll do this.
I've never seen before my eyes this dream. I've never known what makes this child to see. Like tears from a mountain pouring gently to the sea, a curiosity, will you dare to touch my soul? Is love so frail that we can't hope to be more than we are, more than our hearts can see? And if for any reason on this field of broken dreams we stand to lose it all, then for you, yes, I do it willingly. If this is our moment, captured in time, always to sustain, lost in your eyes I find are the only means to remain. Searching relentlessly, just like a cloud, she chases her rain. We'll stand here firm, 'cause we are an island protected by love on this field of broken dreams. It's never clear, this path of destiny. That's why we're here, to find our need to be. Elusive as a rainbow, we can try to steal her gold, but she'll give it willingly. Will you dare to ask her though? We'll find a way, we must believe in us. There'll come a day, we'll soar, and when it does, the sky will have no boundaries. I will challenge every sea, I will never lose this dream. 'Cause for you, yes, I do it willingly. If this is our moment, captured in time, always to sustain, lost in your eyes I find are the only means to remain. Searching relentlessly, just like a cloud, she chases her rain. We'll stand here firm, 'cause we are an island protected by love on this field of broken dreams. On this field of broken dreams.
There you go. A little bit of Field of Broken Dreams action for you. Yeah. You know, some days it's, I remember after writing that, I can't even put it into words. It's I've got a few songs like that. The energy of wow. I actually wrote that. It's kind of funny.
Wow is an understatement, my sweet friend. That is, I'm sitting here almost in tears. Your voice, your music, your composition, your lyrics, everything about it just absolutely wraps its arms around me in a way that music sings to my heart as it does to most of us. But this music of yours is hypnotic. It's beautiful, my dear. You're gifted in so many ways. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, you know the joy of a gift, right? They're there. You give them. That was one of the early lessons for me. Was and I take your word straight to heart, never to mind, straight to heart, in the gratitude of it. And you know, the reason I started playing to the level I did was I was sitting on a curb one day out in front of my friend's house, and his dad came up. I was just sitting playing a song, and he looked at me and says, "You know, you should do that." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "No, you should do that. That's what you should do." And I said, "Really? Oh, okay. Well," so I did, amongst other things. But that was that's where it came from. So there you go. As fate would have it, right? I better do a quick thank you. We're at 60-second point here for Critical Mass Radio online. So much gratitude to Paul, Lisa, and the crew at criticalmassradio.co.uk. No words for it. Thank you so much for giving us this platform every single night of the week where we can bring people together and let them have their voice. This is your show. This is your radio. I'm just the tranny that pushes buttons on this end, you know. And it's not just the ones on screen either. I got other ways of pushing people's buttons, right? That's kind of what I do. But the gratitude from all of us to all of you. We do this together. Thank you so much. And I know the gift that it was and the gift that it is, and it will not be wasted. You have my word on that. And we're running into about 10 seconds left here, guys, and I'm going to read a little letter. So get you guys, if you have any comments, toss them in now.
Yeah. Wow. I'm still trying to recover from the song, but awesome. Again, like I say, guys, Syncrenicity.com. It's all going on down there. Please join in, and you'll see for yourself what's happening. God bless. Thanks.
Absolutely. Wow. Yeah, just it's interesting listening back to stuff that I recorded a long time ago. It's still songs that are for me timeless and capture a moment. And I said after I wrote it that this would likely end up being my signature song. And here we are in a field of broken dreams, and we have to be the ones to be that island. And we are surrounded by love, and that's the only thing that we need. It's the only thing that we need, and we just have to stop beating up ourself in the form of whatever, cops, courts, whatever you want to call the enemy, because you're just beating yourself up. We came here to, if as Chuck was saying earlier about saving people. If there's anyone that needs saving, it's them. And those that are deemed to be our enemy or nemesis, enemy, love thine enemy. Well, it means love thy, no vengeance. Nemesis, no vengeance. So you might want to take a lesson in the etymology and understand what's really being said. So on that little note, I'm going to get into this letter, and hopefully I can get through it. Been a stager a long time. Let's see if I can handle this one. All right. This is 2. That's why I like to read things, because not only is it on paper, I put it in the ether, and I'd like to thank all you guys for being here and everyone that gets a chance to hear this, for being part of it, because that's where the agreement comes in. And if you can sense it, you'll at least understand where this heart came from. You'll understand where this truth came from, and you'll understand just how valuable it is. And you're going to hear what it cost me. This was a letter I wrote to my daughters and Sue today, over the last week or so. I've been piecing it together, trying to get the words right. Me trying to get words right, unbelievable. You know, yeah, there's some things that I have a hard time. I've been thinking on this for many months, not knowing what to say when, but here we go. They got this today, hopefully. To my most dearest Sue, Emily, and Hillary. I'm not sure where to even begin, so I'll just simply write and hope that what I can share will find the ears to hear and the hearts to feel. I will be judged in everything I say regardless, if not worthy of a word from my heart or reply in kind. I won't begin to define for each of you what you experienced at the hands of others, where all blame has been laid at my feet for daring to love you and the right things in this life. Rest assured, you will get no judgments from me, nor guilt trips or anything of the like. I will ask for each of you to search your own hearts, to see and decide if you felt that my intent was to harm you. If you feel it was, then you were mistaken, and, like most others in my life, have missed the best part of me, but that's okay too. And you will be in the majority. I have long let my song speak for me, and I stand firm in that, and I will never yield from the purest parts of everything I am. What we all experienced that vicious night was beyond frightening, as it was designed to be by those that fear being exposed for what they are. I can't begin to imagine what you all went through, although I assure you that was the most terrifying for me, being unable to be the wall to stop it. Being kidnapped at gunpoint and caged like an animal has that effect. One day, if allowed, we can talk about that, but truth be known, I've long given up on that occurring, but my hope remains, and it is a prepared hope. Only doubt is for the ill-prepared, where hope rises above it. It is very difficult to share what I need to share with you, since I am not allowed to speak, but perhaps I can shed a little light as to why. What we experienced was standard operating procedure, long practiced by those that would keep humanity enslaved, and the typical tool is terrorism, divide and conquer, and destroy the lives of those that are challenging the lies. What I know and what I see is far too much for the average individual to comprehend first, and then to accept. Sue, you have been witness to things not of this world, with the time jumps they pull on us, amongst other surreal things. You see, girls, the system knew exactly where to hit me, and they hit me hard by terrifying you in an attempt to break me. They attacked my heart and those most important in my life, thus you. They knew that there was no other way to try and break me, and in that they also failed, because regardless of what you think of me, I know what is true in my own heart, where only I can be the judge of that mirror. Search your own hearts out for any proofs you need on that one. This is also not an attempt at pity, guilt, or blame, so please don't even go there either. One thing I did know to be certain was that none of you could ever be harmed by them by virtue of my own stance and choices, and the best they could do was create enough fear and dissension to destroy everything that mattered to us, and, based on the current situation, they did a pretty good job. What they could never destroy and never will destroy was and is my love for you. That one is untouchable. You see, it is not important to me that you love or even like me anymore. It only matters to me that my love for you all is and forever will be unconditional. This was something my own father learned in the last year of his life, and even to the point of being shunned at my own brother-in-law's funeral, another man I love dearly. It did not matter to Harvey that I wasn't allowed in the last viewing. He knew I was there, and that was good enough for me. And it was the last time the four of us, you and me, were in the same building together since our home was stolen last year. It was stolen, and there is much going on around that, so it is far from over, but this fight is one I'm taking alone with a different army of beings. To explain what is really going on would be too much for any of you to handle, and thus the universe has kept you safe and out of harm's way, whether you think that or not. It is not a matter of believing that or not either, since the truth doesn't require your belief. One has to get beyond the emotions to see it. No, girls, this has not been an easy one for any of us, none more difficult than the other, since we all have our own paths to walk. The synchronicities are countless in how things are set up right now from every choice I ever made, where some were clear before they actually happened. Take Tim and your mum, for example. I even wrote a song about it long ago from a dream I had that was more of a vision than a dream. You can listen to that vision in Losing You. So I knew that was coming too. My overall vision can be found in my signature song, Field of Broken Dreams. What has become clear to me over the years are the true meanings and messages in the songs I catch, and it only gets better from here. One day, if given the chance, I'd love to go over many things in detail to offer greater clarity and understanding what has happened and what will be happening soon. That choice, however, is and always will be yours. I suppose I'd like to stay focused on the who intended what for this one. I'd like for you all to search inside your hearts and ask yourselves if you honestly feel that what happened was what I intended, or if I was fighting with every ounce of my beingness to prevent it. It's not an easy fight when one does it alone against the odds I was facing, with the stakes being so high either. I need you to search your own hearts on this one to decide that you feel that it was my intent or someone else's to put you through what you went through. Granted, I have not made things easy with being a freak of nature either, but then that's been my own prison for a lifetime, and I knew the stakes were high there as well. But being true to oneself is what I preach, so to be otherwise would make me a hypocrite. My own hand was forced there as well. My gratitude for you, Sue, for being there as a friend is immeasurable, and you know you saved my life on that one, literally. Know the harassment and embarrassment you all experienced as a result of my being targeted for what I was exposing was more than most could bear, so how could I expect anything different? Maybe I simply hoped too much, and in that regard, I was truly ill-prepared. I've spent a lifetime of being there for others when they needed me in any capacity I was capable of, and always without question, but perhaps a little grumbling on occasion, depending on the timing, convenience, etc. But I always pulled through for others. That has always been my nature, and that is self-evident, where that helping of others came at great cost to myself. Unfortunately, though, in that willingness to help others, I became only that, and when my usefulness was done, so was my mattering to them. I've only mattered to others for what I could do for them, what I could be for them, and what I could give them, and never for who and what I truly was and am, and that's okay too. It's funny, I'm like the puppy that gets beaten, but will always come back with a timid tail wagging, hoping that it won't happen again, but it always does. Go figure. What else is funny is that the house I never wanted became the very thing that I fought for others because it mattered to them, and it invariably cost me everything anyway, never mind a lifetime's working efforts. It cost me 7 years of silence between my dad and I, which was gratefully resolved when it mattered. A marriage, a best friend, 2 children and my soulmate, and for what? Truth. I fully understand your silence and why things are the way they are, because that was the intended outcome for those that wish to try and destroy us, and the truth I was revealing. You see, you are all doing exactly what they want you to do, and all I want to do is show you that, whether or not you care if I breathe or not. Please hate me for what I did to you and not what someone else did to you. While I had a choice to simply go along with the lies once uncovered, I couldn't. I lived through enough of those already. I couldn't sit by any longer and let a child rapist harm another child, which is what happened after me, where I was without a voice to speak out, nor the will to do so. Fear at those levels has that effect. I've long wondered what drives me in this, and it is the knowledge of knowing I could have done more but didn't. Granted, I was only 13 at the time, but that weighs heavy on a heart and soul. I wish that I could wave a magic wand and make it all go away, but that isn't going to happen either. Not in this realm just yet, anyway. It is hard for me to imagine that I'd be where I am right now the night I left to take Emily to a party. When you guys are ready to hear the facts uncovered since that night, let me know, with one of them being the Guelph Police City buying the house behind us to keep an eye on me. The pendulum is swinging back now. The young lady cop that was killed hitting a bus recently was the one that drove me downtown the day I went back to reclaim our home. The chief was also fired 2 weeks after they kidnapped me the second time for being the loose cannon he was and exposing too much by attacking us and me. The list goes on, but I've never had the chance to share it with any of you. I've had countless friends bail on me over the last 2 years, some very close people, but then again, fear has that effect, and my ability to give them what they need was gone. No, I haven't heard from any of them either, and likely because my usefulness was taken and spent. It would appear I have no value to anyone beyond that which I can give them or help them get what they need, since that is all that matters to most people. Nevertheless, giving is all I know how to do, and that will never cease. I have wearied long months even trying to write this, and I still don't know what to say because I am speaking from a perceived failed position, since that is what those that harmed us wish for. I won't grant them that wish, however, because no matter what you think and feel, I have not and never will abandon you. I will never give them a victory thinking they have crushed me, because you all matter too much to me. I have my mirror and you have yours, and I can look into mine with clear conscience knowing that. I've spent too many days in silent tears in my life to know it to be otherwise. I have long ago learned that when my usefulness is done with, this puppy gets kicked to the curb, but my tail will never cease wagging no matter how many times I get beaten by those I love. I will always be there no matter what. Yes, I wish things were different, and I wish I had learned more and faster to the point of what I know today, but that was exactly what the system feared most of all, and hoped that I would never find out what I have and what I am now revealing to the world, literally. My voice is heard by millions now around this planet, except for the 3 I care for the most. My writings are read by even more, and I see daily the difference I am making in total strangers' lives, because they see it too now, finally. I fight every day simply for the will to continue where the biggest purpose I had and have finds me unworthy of even a text or a reply to one. Just stating a fact is all, and if that's different to what you think, well, tell me otherwise. I don't even know if you'll even bother to read this, and I think that has been the biggest hurdle of all for me. Not much point in writing something that may never be read, and I can't write anything for me. I can only write for and to others to have any sense of purpose. I would suppose I'm going to have to be ill-prepared and hope. I seek to blame no one either. It is what it is, and what we're going through is personal to each of us. None more important than the others, merely different. Blame me for everything if you wish. If it makes you feel better, just understand that blaming me was exactly what certain entities wants you to do. All I know and care to know is that I did matter to you at one point, and maybe it's up to you now to see why I mattered and if I still do. Again, it is only important to me I know you matter to me and that my love is unconditional. I wanted to write the same letter to include all of you because we all need to be in the same place where I can share equally with all of you. To do otherwise is separation, and I've had enough of that. I'm grateful that all the things I know were set up for a reason to be where we all are right now, as difficult as some have been to accept. I see where my choices of friends and befriending first long ago has kept you all safe, not a coincidence. There is much going on in the world right now, and I know most people won't know what it's all about because they're glued to the TV programming, but just realize that I'm here when and if needed, always here and never far. I used to be the one that everyone in the family and friends came to when they needed advice or for someone to handle a situation. I will be that one again, you'll see. Yes, I understand your silence and exclusion of me. I understand why, and while I don't like it, I can wait a lifetime or more for others to come to terms with it as well. I am only useful to most when I am needed, and right now none of you need me because you have what you need and want without me. I am seen as the one who brought this upon you, but the truth is, I was the one trying to stop all of this in the first place. Once you understand that all things in your world are corrupted by those who we were all taught to be the ones to look up to, you'll begin to stop seeing and treating me as the enemy. As long as you see me as that, I won't matter anyway. To be the enemy, you must decide in your heart that I deliberately wanted to cause you harm. That I must have worked very hard to make sure our family was ripped apart, and don't forget, it was my home that was stolen too. My dearest Quincy is still there, and I will return with or without you. I know in my own heart that I have given the very best of myself to you and for you, and that will never cease whether you choose to be silent, hateful, or neglectful of me and my literal existence. It will be entirely up to you from this point on if I mattered, or matter at all. It really is that simple. I have no judgment, those are for fools and children. And my mirror is and forever will be mine to judge me where no one else can. If I don't matter now, I never mattered then. Not for who I am anyway, but merely for what I could give, provide, do, or offer vicariously to enhance your own lives. Maybe this will be something you read when I am long gone, but the only message contained truly is the one that says I love you, and I always will, without condition, just like everyone else in my life that I have loved and lost. Regardless, I will fight on for all of you until my last breath, with or without your being there, where my overwhelming desire is that you are. I offer no guilt here either, where you are given the free will choice to choose if I am to be part of your lives or a system-generated memory. I long every day and night to hold you in my arms to tell you it will be all right, where my own strength would be powered up 1,000-fold with purpose. I have only unconditional love to give now, and it is yours for the taking, and always was there and always will be. My urge to keep writing is overwhelming, but I think I've said some of what I really needed to say and have tried to write for so many months and not knowing why. Both my mom and dad shared the same words with me when they left, where they were not needed to be said, such as the way of an empath. I know what is in your hearts because I was near you, and no amount of hiding will ever conceal a heart, and I know all three of yours fully. It is my wish that you have the strength within you to dare and follow your heart now where it used to be. One thing I know for sure is that the measure of all negative things directed at someone you love is a true measure of how much love was there in the first place. So I thank you all for that. Your auras cannot lie or hide. Some days, it doesn't suck to be an empath with eyes to see. The only choice now, and the choice is entirely yours, is to let those that harmed us win, or us winning, and that is to say hello or goodbye. Either way, you will win in the end anyway, where I will matter eventually with the result. Yes, you matter that much to me. You had me and I love you. With infinite love. Me.
Wow. Only wow, wow, wow. How beautiful you are. Your essence is so overwhelmingly powerful, and the fact that you've opened yourself up to us, to share that with us, I thank you from the deepest depths of my heart, my friend.
That's where I live.
I feel your pain. I feel your pain, sweetheart.
Welcome home.
I love you.
Let's get this done. Let's get this done. Shall we?
You need me to... Yeah, absolutely. Totally. Let's do it.
The Leo is strong in me. So,
you know, Kate, you know, as I was listening to those beautiful words that you were putting on paper and feeling the pain that was attached to them and the releasing and so forth, you know, as we go through life and the horrible things that happen to us in our relationships, there's many, many relationships that end with not enough words said. We allow them to not be said. And for that, I'm very grateful that you've set an example of putting your heart on paper and making sure that those words are said. Thank you for that. Good example.
Oh, no worries. No worries. It's kind of what I do best, I think, getting the word out. Jim, I opened your line, I think, and Bobo got yours open. You guys want to jump in for a sec? Not sure how much longer we're going to be on here.
I'm pretty well lost for words, Kate.
Well, just, you know, all I'm asking people to do is get what I'm talking about and get it out there. That's it. You know, it's not rocket science.
I've already posted in the chat room for everybody to download this tonight and to spread the information and get it out there. So before you said it, it's already been done.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's everyone else out there doing it too. And then what we do is we create that tsunami, that unstoppable wave. That's how we wash ashore. I saw the tsunami in a dream a month and a half, 2 months ago. It was beautiful violet. Absolute indigo. Just crashing ashore. It was monstrous and it didn't damage a thing. It was beautiful.
Yeah, totally. It's about doing. It's not about talking. It's not about intent. It's about actually getting off your arse and doing it. And that's what I want people to do.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's the baby steps that we talk about too, Tony, you know. You don't have to, seriously, sit down one night and just grab all your 20s and whatever and just draw a box or, you know, box all the signatures. I'm after the intent. I don't care about the physical act. I want the intent there. I want the spiritual, because the spiritual is what's conquering the physical. So that's where we unite. We don't unite, you know, arm in arm and you know, with guns. No, we unite in ether. Right? This is where I live. You know, this is, I got to tell you, as much of a curse being born to spirit, the blessing is magnified 1,000-fold. It's incredible, and I'm just trying to get that across to people. It's and you know what? People are getting it. They are getting it. I'm finally talking with people that understand. They get, oh, you see it finally. Look at you. Look how beautiful you are. You get it. And that's where we're at, guys. It's about the intent. What other stupid little things have I said to do, Tony? Boxing signatures on a 20. Print up a few copies of something and just leave it at a coffee shop. That's all the intent you need to do. If you can't speak and write and do whatever, and what I do resonates with you, and you can make that yours. If it resonates with you, then it is yours. Copywriting, that's for fictions. I'm real. Patents, that's for people who want to profit off others. It's yours. I own nothing and everything, just like you. Only fools own things. Slaves, actually. Slaves are owners. Owners are slaves. See how that works? That beautiful hermetic mirror of polarity. Incredible stuff, no? So.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty much done for tonight. Anybody else want to make any comments? I'm good.
I'm good.
Jim, Bobo, you guys want to jump in, say anything? Actually, I got area code 612. I'm going to open up your mic anyway. So if anybody has any questions or comments, go ahead.
Well, Kate, I think probably most of us that finally come to the realization. I'm pretty certain that most of us go through many trials. Most of them are mental. I mean, you get angry, you get depressed. I mean, you can go through a loss of hope. But once you're on the path, it's like you can't get off the path. It's like, no, I know too much. I can't stop.
Well, that's why I wrote Prometheus Bled.
Well, and I've suffered the same losses that you have, just in different circumstances. But
you've walked the road.
I totally understand. I totally get where you're coming from. And it is hard. It's a trial on the soul.
Well, the test wouldn't be easy if the prize wasn't huge.
Yeah. Kate? Kate?
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. That was funny. I wish I was opened up so I could say something, and then you opened me up. Yeah. When you were reading that touched my heart. But when you were reading that, a couple things. I felt those two girls and the lady, I don't know if she's your wife or your friend, were sitting at a round table, and they were listening to that. And then another thing I felt like is you did a major healing between the group that is awake now, like us, this group, and the lot of people that are not even awake. They're waking up, but they're, way behind us, so to speak. And I feel like there was a major healing done there. And so now things can come together.
Well, that's what we do. That's the role of the two-spirit. We walk between worlds.
And even though it hurt your hearts, the loss, you were the diamond. You're the diamond. You lit up that part of the diamond, so the whole diamond can come together now.
Well, that is the goal. I understand the analogy and the allegory, and yeah, you're right on the money. That's exactly what you just described there, the way of a two-spirit. Completely. Welcome to the team.
I just want to share that to you because I just want to encourage you. Those are the two things that were very overwhelming to me. So thank you for bearing your soul, your heart, and who you are. Love you.
I love you too. I'll tell you what, I've got to go move my car out of the way for a sec. I'm gonna leave this going. Tony, you take the helm, and I want to hear more from you guys, because this is where the intent is growing, and I'm not letting it go just yet. So Tony, take the helm for a sec. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay, Kate. Kate actually sent me a copy of that earlier on today to read through. Spent a bit of time going through that earlier on. It gives you an insight, or it gives you an understanding as to what Kate had to go through, really. And it's only the tiniest glimpse. But the road that we've had to, the road that Kate's had to go on, people couldn't make this shit up. You know, it's incredible stuff. And it's the same for all of us. When you step out into the limelight, when you actually go forward and really enact this stuff, it changes everything. It changes every single thing. Your bank accounts are gone, your driving license, your passport, your life, your mortgage, your tax bills, your income, the point is, all of the legislation that's been passed to allow you to work, you know, it changes your entire life. And it's been designed that way, because what they want you to do above all else is to fear stepping out of the system, to make you believe wholeheartedly that you love the system, that you're integrated into the system, that you cannot survive outside the system, and then making it physical. When we actually lose physical money, which is what they're planning, and it goes to the chip, then we're in serious trouble, because there's no way out. Because if they decide that they're going to turn your chip off, that's it. You've got no recourse. In the UK, I mean, it doesn't matter what I say, I can't put enough of an impact on what I can see and what I'm experiencing. The fact of the matter is, we need to stop this juggernaut before it goes over the bridge. Because once it's gone over the bridge, it's too late. We're not going to be able to stop it. So it's up to each and every one of us to make the difference, to do something. Be it box a signature, or, you know, go and talk to anybody, even your neighbour. It doesn't matter, but make a physical effort constantly to wake people up. Bring people to the information, repost the information. Print up some stickers, print up some flyers, box the signature, refuse to comply. You know,
fire up these documents to the local law offices, all the cops and everything else. It doesn't have to be your document. Just send it out. The intention's already there, and I assure you it's as pure as driven snow.
But do.
You know what?
Do.
You know, an intention powerful? Agreement. It's the only thing that can. If you agree with the intent, if you can resonate it and make it yours, then gosh darn, it is yours. And that's what makes a perfect postulate. Because there's one thing senior to a truth, and that's someone agreeing with it, making it so. That's what truth is. That's why every truth is only a half-truth until you complete it with another one. So, you know, people say to me, why, you know, got, you know, your name on it, this, that, and the other. It's irrelevant. Then use it. Just send out the information. It doesn't have to be yours, because see, that's that is the trap of people being caught in their own names. That if it's not got their name on it, it ain't theirs. No, I'm not dealing with names here. I'm dealing with concepts, and that's been the hardest thing for me to get across to people. It's got nothing to do with me. It's got everything to do with you and the concept. If you get it, then pass it along. Don't worry about it. I ain't afraid of anything of mine going anywhere, because chances are I've already sent them something anyway. So the worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to go, oh shit, there's more Kate stuff. And I love that. I love knowing that there are a lot of people that are nervous opening their mailboxes every Monday morning, and I haven't sent anything for a while. There's more stuff going out. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. That's why we do these shows. That's why you guys are showing up, because you're in the same frequencies. You're resonating with that. Go ahead, Jim.
Kate, I got there's a video going around. It's going pretty viral, but it was kind of like a little town square meeting where some group got together, and there's a former U.S. Secret Service agent got up in the middle of the crowd. Well, the main gist was over the Second Amendment deal with the grab on the guns and stuff like that. And he was talking in the mode of, being a citizen and stuff, but he did say some really good things. And part of the deal the main thing that I got out of it was he said, look, he says, we were just born with this stuff. We're a child of the Creator, and all the rest of this stuff is a bunch of junk. They can't tell you how to live, and you got to get out of that mindset. So we got to get back to knowing who we are.
Look at that! It's made it all the way there, and that's one of the things you guys need to take some credit for. Do you know how advanced in your spirituality and your awakening is? The mere fact that you're in this call, that you've been listening, that you've been part of tonight and every other night. Do you know how advanced you are? Do you know how much more you see than 99% of the people out there? But what's happening is that 99% is awakening because of frequencies. Every one of us that gathers adds 1,000-fold power, which wakes up more and more and more, where now that power has seeped right into the very darkness itself. And those within the darkness are seeing the light, and they're starting to awaken. Those that were the most entrained, the most indoctrinated, the most ego-driven, even they are starting to awaken. It's over for them. This game is over. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Yeah.
And that when is now. So what you just said there, Jim, again, everyone has their level of understanding, but when people can see an injustice, whether it's from a statute position or from a spiritual position, for me it's irrelevant. They're beginning to see the injustice, and they're starting to make that change. They're starting to make that step forward, to make that understanding. That is, to me, the most powerful tool of all. And it's also the proof, if anyone needs it, in the physical sense, it's the proof that the frequency is rising. And that's all we have to do. All we have to do is hold on.
Well, here's a great... I really liked how he put this. Okay, this is a guy that spent, 18 years as a Secret Service agent, protecting the president. That was his job. And he says, you know what? He says, never, ever in my 18 years, when the president was going to go somewhere, did we go out for the purpose of gun control. Never once. He says, what we went out to do was control people. And he says, and that's a big difference. And you can see that, because that's what the whole system's designed for. It's people control. The mass want to control the masses.
Well, now that they can't control the masses, what do? They have to go to the next best thing, and it's control their ability to strike back, because they know they can't control the masses anymore.
Yeah. And they're desperate.
A measure of fear. Oh, yeah, it's the measure of their terror, absolutely. That's where I start to laugh now. As hard as it is, I laugh and I go, look at that. You are you're down to basic ball-bearing bombs at a marathon from 9/11. That's a little bit of a drop, don't you think? just a little. From scalar to, you might as well get, with dish soap and fertilizer. That's probably what they made the bombs out of.
Well, I think they got their pants down anyway, because I've had several people send me the photos to of the craft the craft guys that work for the craft that were located right in the bomb area.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
They didn't go help anybody. When the bomb went off, they ran away. So what were they doing there? What was a private firm doing there?
Can I comment?
Go for it, Tone.
Right, a couple of things. Number one, the only reason that Obama has got all of these security guards around him right now is because he was sent specific information on the Bible code, the one I referred to tonight in the show. You see, Yitzhak Rabin was warned that he was going to be assassinated before his assassination. And that was listed in the Bible code. His birth date, his death date, his assassination by means of a lone assassin was all decoded from the Bible code. Yitzhak Rabin was told point blank not to go and do what he went and did. Otherwise he would be assassinated according to the Bible code. He went ahead and did it. Now my point being, he got assassinated. Secondly, the Pentagon spent a fortune trying to prove the Bible code wrong at the lower levels. And when I'm talking lower levels, I'm talking humans on Earth, right? Because there are many levels to this onion. The point being, because he didn't listen, he was killed. Now, Obama's details were also cross-referenced with the Bible code, and it was also put forward that he was going to be assassinated. Now, the guy that found out the information, who ran the code, went to Oprah Winfrey and contacted Oprah Winfrey and said, look, this is the information that I told Yitzhak. Yitzhak wouldn't listen. It's encoded in the code. You need to get this information to the president, and he needs to be aware of this, because Yitzhak wouldn't listen. He's now dead, and he's now dead because he wouldn't listen. So, I need to give this information to you, Oprah, to pass to the president, because I know you're contacted with the president, and therefore, when you've given that information, he can avoid his own assassination. The result of that is that now Obama, for life, is protected by all these bodyguards that are actually around him with the guns and all the rest of it, protecting him and his family.
And that's going to change. That's going to change the timelines, Tony. That's a good thing.
Yes, I know, but I'm making it plain. I'm just explaining this shit because people don't understand it, and they're not going to understand it. And so
one sec. You keep. I know that, but you keep saying it. You keep selling them the fact that they won't understand it. I'm going to tell them that they will understand it. Carol, do you want to jump in there for a sec? I think I'm not sure if what you want to share here, but maybe you might want to share something with Tony
about Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're referring to, dear?
I might be.
Okay. Well, I think Tony knows a lot more than I do about a lot of things. But what I have been told is Obama is somebody that was a tremendous leader in many other lifetimes that led the people to happiness and so forth and out of the dark. He's a very high being, and I understand if my information is correct, and it's come in from several different sources, that Obama has DNA from King Tut. Now, whether that, has any bearing on it or not, I don't know. Also, people have said, and more of this information is coming in, that he was actually the son of Malcolm X, or Malcolm Little. And, of course, I think you folks already know that. But, Yeah, I don't know. Was that what you were referring to?
Yeah,
Kate?
I think it was the DNA of Ramesses.
Okay. There.
Right.
Yeah, but you see, he looks more Arab to me than he does black. He embodies the black, being the first black president. He has white blood. He has Arab blood. He looks Egyptian to me.
He's
and
all
so,
of it.
yeah, he came here, I think, with a purpose. And everything that everybody's seeing that he's doing that's so in your face, it's like Kate said this morning, or early in the call, I believe it was Kate, and I've been telling this to our phone family for a long time too. You know, the dark agenda does things in little tiny increments so that you don't get upset too badly, and it's so small you think, oh well, I'm not going to react to that. And then over the course of years, all this stuff builds up. When Obama came in, he's taking and he's saying, look at here. He's doing exactly what Kate is doing. Look at here, I'm putting it in your face. This is what they have been doing to you all these years. Wake up, everybody. But everybody sees what he's doing as, all the executive orders. Now everybody's calling me now saying, he just signed an executive order, or he's getting ready to allow the military to come into your house and arrest you. That is a good thing, and I'll tell you why, because the White Knights need that. The White Knights are trying to appease both the legal part of this whole operation and the lawful part, the legal part being the illegal corporate government that we have been under in the United States for so many years, and the lawful being the common law constitutional government. So the White Knights have told me in the past that they have to do it both ways, so that when this job gets done, people can't come back and say, oh, well, you didn't do the right protocol and so forth. So they're having to be very careful about that, and that is what Obama is seeing. He's not a warmonger. If he was a warmonger, we would have been in war, developing more industrial machinery and putting more money in the dark agenda's pocket. But he's a talker. He's a peaceable man. He does things by talking them out and not going to war. So I don't know, Kate, if that's what you wanted me to share or not. I feel impotent among you people. You are absolutely so evolved and so smart that I'm afraid to bring anything on the call anymore for fear of
No.
That's where I'm at with you guys. You're just amazing.
that was our phone call yesterday after the show, or it was yesterday, or it might have been Thursday. Actually, it was Thursday because we got bumped off, and I called and left a message for you. Again, it's what I'm trying to teach people to do is stop looking at good or evil. You have to look at good and evil, because there is intent on both sides of it. What is the cause? What is the effect? And the simple fact is, when I see someone like Obama writing order after order after order, and I'm thinking that's not standard protocol for the dark side, because they prefer to stay hidden. They prefer to bring things in secretly. You go back to 1933 and 1913 and 1917 and all these different key dates, where a lot of stuff was implemented in a drip-by-drip fashion, where people were literally dripped boiling frog, as you brought up the one night, where
the more it's leading us away from what I want to talk about.
Okay, well then, what do you want to talk about?
That's what I was trying to explain. The point is, the information that you've got, Carol, has come from Freeman, hasn't it? As well as the White Knights. There are elements of Obama's origins, let's put it that way, but there's much more to this program that most people can possibly wrap their heads around, including the Christ line and how it goes back way, way, way back to the original Christ. Who the Christ was, his Mandinka family line, his genetics, his bloodlines, his capabilities, his abilities, and much, much, much more. So what I'm doing is cross-referencing massive amounts of information that are going back a hell of a long way. Cutting a long story short, again, Kate's right in what she's saying. The more negativity that you're given, the more apparent it becomes that we're actually going down the wrong road. And this is also indicative of the Jesuit situation. whereby until you're astute enough and clever enough to get over it and to understand why this is being done to us, you're never going to be able to escape this prison that the Jesuits and the Karzai and the Zionists are just the Army Corps, if you like, and same as the Jews, they're the lower levels. But the point is that we're all being taught stuff here. We're in a crash course in humanity, and it's the human race, in other words, emphasis on race. And Kate's right, as far as we're going to have to experience this stuff until we actually get it right. They demonize Satan worship. But let's look at what Satan worship is. It's Saturn, it's a planet. It's the influences of the solar system upon us. Now, there are negative connotations like sacrifices and stuff like this that can be brought forward and will be brought forward unless we do something about it. So it's a really complex mix of all sorts of different aspects to understand. But what they've basically done is demonized the truth, so that you will never look at it, because you think, oh, I'm not going there, it's Saturn worship, Satan worship, I'm not going to look at that information. And it's extremely, extremely clever. It's so clever it's kept us entrapped down here for a fucking long time. But that's basically where I'm trying to go. There are elements of all of that. There are elements of time travel, teleportation, faster than light, superluminal travel, black ops programs, flying saucers, ETs. There's elements of all of that involved in it, and they are involved in it. You can't separate one from the other, which is the problem. That's why I said tonight on the show that the magnitude of this thing just makes people freeze. Literally stop, freeze, because they can't handle the magnitude of the information. And that's what I'm trying to put across. Yes, there's good bits to Obama, but there's also negative bits to Obama, and who Obama is himself is a massive story. Yes, there's cloning. Yes, there's time travel. Yes, there's genetic lineage. Yes, there's bloodlines.
And yes, there's spirituality, and that's where I'm going to hold the high ground and say fuck it to everything else. And that's, I was going to bring that point in earlier as far as, legal, lawful, whatever the case may be. Well, my role was to take care of the universal law side of it. And the trigger is pulled. All we got to do is start pointing that cannon in all the right directions and let whale, and that's it. Sorry, I'm not a technocrat. I don't care what technologies are available. I'll tell you right now, the technologies, although they can be deemed to be the things that will free mankind, they will also be the things that enslave them in transhumanism. So again, this is very careful timing that we have to be mindful of, and very careful future traps that we may get caught in. So I'm just standing right outside the box, and I'm just going to observe, and I will see the good and the evil in everything. And as much as teleportation is a great thing, it's also an evil thing, because it all away from the spiritual aspect of what we can do without teleportation devices. We have that ability. We're infinite gods. So to me, it's a step backwards into fucking Stone Age personally, but that's me. And that's why you and I work the way we do, Tony. We'll bring both sides of it to the table in a very diametrically opposed way, where people can have a look at both sides and to get a deeper and fuller understanding of what's really going on here. We have to decide within ourselves what it is that we wish for. Is this what we want and the direction we want to go in? And we're babes in the woods right now, and we're finally coming to the meadow. And before I go bursting out into the meadow where I become a clear shot for somebody else, I'm going to be a little bit mindful, and I'm going to make sure that everything is in place before I do that. I've been the babe in the woods for a long time, and I've ran into the meadow quite a few times and got taken out as a result of it. So this time, it's the 100 times bitten, 101st time shy. So, and that's not to take away from what you said, but I'm also not going to grant it the 100% that you might feel it to be. So again, I will agree and disagree with you at the same time.
Okay, fair enough. Comment made.
Well, yeah, that's the thing too. I agree with you and disagree with you.
Well, to put it in a different perspective, because I've experienced this with a lot of people. It's called cognitive dissonance. They get so much information so fast that it becomes totally unbelievable to them, or that it goes against their,
program.
Everything that they've experienced in their life so dramatically that they mentally just shut down.
That's what
that is by design.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at anybody and ask them this question: did you know that you are the cause of all your problems and all your taxes and everything else? And they'll look at you like you got two heads, because they're too busy wanting to blame somebody else for why they're losing 50, 60, 70% of their paycheck, and the other 25% of it, in taxes. So really, out of every quote dollar unquote that people take home, roughly 95% of it is given right back in taxes anyway. So let's say $1 loaf of bread is really only a nickel. The rest of it's all inflation that is scraped off the top for those that created the illusion of money. And got everyone else convinced that somehow a piece of paper is actually worth something. The concept originally, as it was fine. But we have to go back to before gold and silver. Again, drip by drip, step by step. And Tony's right. A lot of people will be overwhelmed. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit there and say that most people just won't get it and most people just won't understand it. That's absolute bullshit. Because, hey, Jim, I'll ask you just out and out. Do you get the concept of how we committed fraud using a name that was sold?
Yeah, I do.
Is it a difficult concept?
Well, I'm a bad example because I've been around this for a long time.
No, I know that. But let's say, we'll use a simple example. You say to somebody, if you went and grabbed the checkbook off your neighbor and wrote a check on their account for something you bought, what would you be charged with? And they'll get that right away.
Well, yeah, okay. You'd be fraud, theft, whatever.
Well, that's what using your own name is. That's what they've done. And because it was a name that was sold. If you sold something to somebody, can you claim to use it again? Or is it sold? Well, it's sold.
Oh, it's sold.
Now, if you went and tried to use it after you sold it and were paid fair and square for it, what could you be charged with? That would be theft. Without permission. If you go and use something that doesn't belong to you without permission, that's theft.
Right.
So the concept's there. And again, it's trying to get as many simple analogies to people as possible. That's the easy part. The tough part is where people have to go, okay, well, now what do I do? Well, you got to start taking some baby steps. And the thing is, when you take one baby step, the next one, it becomes self-evident. But you got to take that first one. You got to start making the move towards it. This is where you start getting into pre-thought, pre-crime, if you will. It's where you start thinking about things. Are you supporting the system and hurting others by doing so? Or is there something you can now do that isn't supporting the system? Going out to a farmer and bartering with something. And you'll still have people say, "Oh, I want to do that in case I get caught in tax dodging." And you see, you look at that shadow government that has you. Those are all ghosts, guys. Everyone's talking about, well, I have to do this receipt in case I get audited. Really? Okay, so apparently you're still afraid of ghosts. You're still afraid of boogeymen. It's ridiculous is what it is. But anyway, we're running down on the clock here. We got about 2 minutes, so I guess I'm going to sign this one off, guys, okay?
Oh, cool.
All right. Well, thank you so much for giving me your time and your hearts, where I was able to give you my time and my heart as well tonight, guys. Thanks again, Tony, and everybody in the call that chipped in tonight for their more than 2 cents worth. I can't say I love you enough, and I can't say I love you any more than infinitely, so there you go. Thanks again to criticalmassradio.co.uk for giving us this platform every single night of the week. I look forward to talking with you guys again tomorrow night from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Critical Mass Radio Online, the sister station to criticalmassradio.co.uk, when we have Carol on East Coast joining us, and we're going to get into some pretty neat stuff tomorrow night where we peel off more and more layers to see what is actually there, what we can use, what we can eat, what we can throw away. That's all we got to do. We got to pare the onion, get rid of the garbage, find the core, use that only. So much love to everybody. Oh, go ahead, Jim, quickly.
Yeah, real quick. I just wanted to, this was kind of in response to a statement that Tony had made. A friend of mine that contacted me about 5 years ago, and he wanted to get the community moving into the direction of self-sustainability. And I tried contacting him a month and a half ago. He finally contacted me last night, and he reminded me, our biggest problem is we don't know how to feed ourselves anymore. We've totally lost it.
No, we haven't. No, we haven't. I know enough people again.
We haven't totally lost it, but he said you're looking at 90+% that has no clue how to feed themselves.
Well, the good news is there's enough there in reserve that'll keep everybody fed long enough for something to get growing, and those that do know what's going on to get the job done. There is a solution. It's already there. I don't deal in fear porn. Promise.
Nope, I hear you.
We have everything we need. We have each other. I don't need any more than that because we do this together. And we can tell you